We're live.
Hello, and welcome to the 41st episode of the Destiny Community Podcast, brought to you by Blue Microphones and Headphones. And this week, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it's what, the 13th today? Something like that?
It is 13th.
It is the 13th.
July 13th.
It is.
Thursday the 13th.
Thursday the 13th. One day off being Friday the 13th. More importantly, if you guys have been keeping up on the news like ultra hardcore, you've been wanting to know when to download the Destiny 2 beta. If you're listening to the podcast right now live, you can download it. If you're listening to it tomorrow or today when you're listening to it, it means you can definitely download it on consoles, PC. You're kind of SOL there.
Mm-hmm.
PC's gonna have to wait. Yeah.
They're not used to waiting. I'm curious to see what they're.
Have you ever downloaded something from Steam?
Yeah.
I'm used to waiting.
Yeah. Have you ever used an M2 boot drive? You don't wait.
No. It's going to be interesting to see how they all.
Did you guys download it?
Yes.
Of course.
Check out the start screen, hit the X button.
I was considering doing like a 2-hour stream of just that screen.
Right. I was having the same thought, Tefty. I was just going to leave it up on my stream. Just the start screen.
I was going to keep on hitting X and be like, one of these days.
I did the Russian roulette of trying to see if I'd linked the wrong account to it and sent it to the wrong PlayStation profile, but it seems to have worked out okay.
Oh,
good.
Thank goodness.
Y'all probably heard that lovely British accent there. That is Tim Clark from PC Gamer Magazine. Hello, sir.
Thanks for having me, guys. Pleasure to be on.
Hey,
absolutely.
Figure Destiny 2 is coming to PC. Might as well get some sort of guy that knows PC gaming
and Destiny,
on the podcast,
right?
But more than that, though, like you're a legit, like, how did you say, closet, Destiny fan?
I think desperate addict was the word I used. Yeah, I've played, I guess I stopped counting at about 2,500 hours across all characters. Yeah.
Reasonable.
It was when I started I was going to events and bumping into guys from Bungie, and we'd be talking. They'd be going, "Yeah, I've logged 500 hours in the game," and I'd be going, like Rookie. casual. Yeah. So it's nice to kind of be out of the closet because whenever I would mention, like on our own website or in meetings and stuff, how much I played the game, like the commenters would get pretty angry. Like one of them called me a disgrace to PC gaming.
Disgrace. That's hilarious.
And why do you think there was that? Because I mean, everybody who plays Destiny, I feel like this community is a little defensive when people attack the game, and so they've always been in that position where they're defending the game. But with you being surrounded by the PC gaming community, how have you survived? How is this?
The funny thing is we've noticed the same sort of thing now that we're kind of legit writing articles about it and kind of covering trailers and announcements as they come out, and there'll often be like, I don't want to say like a negative reaction, but there's certainly like an amount of skepticism still out there, and I think a ton of it is to do with how the game launched 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of people who kind of dipped in and played for like a couple of weeks or a month, and had all the kind of issues with the story and the end game that you guys have talked about plenty of times on the podcast, and they kind of never saw the repair work that was done by things like the Taken King and various patches and stuff. So their perception of it is still that game that launched. And I think also on PC there's also it's a feisty community, and there's a bunch of people who are just like they don't like being locked out of things, and they're effectively locked out of the first cycle of Destiny. Activision wanting to concentrate on the legacy consoles and the current gen consoles, and you can't really blame them for that. Like that's a pretty big undertaking for Bungie to support that many formats. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be really interesting with the beta when it comes to PC to see like what the kind of taste test and being able to actually get it into their hands. If that swings the opinion.
Mm-hmm.
How excited is the PC gaming community about the game, and was it like tempered a little bit with the announcement of the delay to October?
I think when it was first announced, there was like a ton of excitement just because they like getting things that that was kind of held at arm's length before. It was the same when like Metal Gear Solid came to PC, but at the same time, I think like Bungie and Activision, I'm sure they know this, they're going to have to do like quite a bit of work to break down that skepticism, because there's also like a bit of a culture of like, well, why do we need you anyway? You were kind of this console game that kind of wanted to ape some MMO stuff. We have MMOs that do things much better than that anyway. I mean, the big thing for me is like on PC, people have been crying for like a new Halo game, like a full-fledged Halo game to come back, and like really, this is Bungie coming back to the system. And when we went to the reveal event, because there was a few of us from PC Gamer there, I think the big acid test for us was how did it feel on mouse and keyboard, and that was the big kind of like the worry that hung over the game, especially if like you knew Vicarious Visions were working on it, so an amount of it was being outsourced and stuff, and feeling it, and immediately you knew that it felt good. Mm-hmm. It felt better than good. It felt right on PC. Was like a huge relief to me as someone who's intending on spending a lot of his time in this world.
Yeah.
There's also kind of this like stigma behind a lot of games that start on console and then go to PC. The word port is never a friendly word in PC gaming. Like, I think a lot. I think the big thing will be like they want the launch of the game to be good, which is why they're delaying it. And then if a PC game seems to have like a bad launch, just look at like Arkham Knight, like bad launch from a bad port, that killed the game. So that stigma sticks around for a very long time, and Destiny has definitely already had that from its initial launch too.
The other thing was when they made the announcement, they obviously like teased the fact that there were those 2 DLCs, which we think are going to be the Rasputin one and the Osiris one. And there was quite a bit of feedback on our pieces going like, oh, is this a Ubisoft game? They're already talking about the DLC. It's not even out. It's crazy. And I was kind of trying to make the point that like, look, if you've been in this world, actually you're just relieved to see that there's a fucking plan for what's coming, because the worst thing is not having more stuff.
I can see how that could look weird from the outside looking in.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That is funny thinking about that. Yeah.
And so is this you don't spend any time you're not a streamer, right? You're a guest that we have on here that spends your time looking at other games and do you do what is your role as global editor in chief? Like I think I know what that means, but to me it seems like I couldn't really write a description. I would like to know
because I have no idea, honestly.
Yeah,
global.
Global.
What does that mean?
So we have editorial teams in Bath in England, San Francisco in America, which is where I'm based, Sydney, Australia, and then a bunch of contractors in Canada and all sorts of other places. So my role is to kind of lead the team basically, and that means deciding what we write about essentially on a day-to-day basis. We still have the print magazine, but I'm kind of more focused really on the website.
Nice.
Do each of those 3 locations have their own print magazine?
The print magazine is effectively like there's one version that gets kind of translated out. So S's become Z's for America because of Yule's cockamamie way of spelling things.
Of course, yeah.
I subscribe on. I got like the iPad version of the magazine.
God bless you.
Thank you. And I've noticed that there seems to be like Australian and like a UK version of it. I was just curious if they were different.
Yeah, the UK version is actually, I should probably not say this, but is slightly bigger because of the way just print works in America versus UK. I'm sure
Plus, you guys use bigger words over there, so it's going to take up more space.
Oh, we use all the $10 words. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, us Americans don't speak good.
And so you said you moved over here from England. Is this was that move for work? Was that a work move for you, or why did you find yourself in San Francisco?
It was to do this job, to join up our UK and US teams, because it's kind of obviously communication across an ocean and time zones can be tough, and
sure.
They wanted me to kind of join that thing up. I've been with PCG for 3 years now, but I spent like most of my time working on PlayStation. I was on a PlayStation magazine for about 10 years, like kind of running one of those, the official one.
So you're a gamer. You're not necessarily a PC gamer. You're a gamer.
Yeah, I mean, definitely both. I mean, I think PC gamer, like, regardless of what the reputation of the PC scene might have, we're very kind of like same as the PC, kind of open spirited. We've written stories about kind of what Breath of the Wild took from PC open world games and stuff. We're not jerks, is what I'm trying to say, in a kind of polite way.
Sure. Well, until the PC Master Race stuff, Lord Gaben and all that.
Did you so what is your like pedigree of games coming into Destiny? I mean, what would you say you you bring your most playtime in, or your experience from in your career or your time as a gamer, not necessarily professional career, but like your personal time.
Yeah, definitely a shooter guy. Destiny is, I mean, with those hours I put into it, is easily the game that I've probably played most beyond. I mean, I used to play a bunch of soccer games back in the day, so you've got me saying soccer now. I am a disgrace. I used to play a bunch of football games like Pro Evo, FIFA, that kind of stuff. I'm like a big CCG player, specifically like Hearthstone, a little bit of Elder Scrolls Legend. So I played Hearthstone to Legend rank once, but I play that every day. But yeah, RPGs, a pretty broad spectrum, I'd say. I was, big into Halo back in the day, but not really the competitive side of it. I like, generally speaking, I'm much more of a PvE than a PvP guy. Basically, because I get furious when I lose to other human beings.
Oh man! And then I find that same competitive spirit doesn't die. And then you get older and you get slower, and but the frustration just gets so much higher.
You got to get craftier.
The only time I've been to the Lighthouse, it was a complete carry, and it was a guy who was like a high school age kid from England, and like a Dutch guy who was probably my age, who was using one of those mouse and keyboard converters for PS4.
Yeah,
so that's essentially cheating, as far as I can tell. But
that is depending on who you're talking to, that is a very, very touchy subject.
Yes.
Yeah,
I could hear him clacking away on his mechanical keyboard as he was sniping ridiculous headshots. So,
yeah. We have there's a very popular guy in our community, Dr. Lupo, who is famous for using mouse and keyboard, and we had him on the podcast, and he was adamant. He gave us all the reasons why he was actually at a disadvantage.
Huh. I don't think that's true.
Okay, so I have a question for you. There's been talk specifically about the PC version of Destiny having support for mouse and keyboard and controller.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that this is actually a question for everybody? Do you guys think that that aim assist factor that is needed for controllers can be abused for mouse and keyboard?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, because the reason why, when you feel aim assist with a mouse, it is very jarring. You don't want any aim assist at all.
Okay.
Yeah, like you.
All right, so it wouldn't help a mouse and keyboard guy.
No, definitely not.
I think, didn't they just confirm that it would only be if you plug the controller in, then it would be become available as an option?
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, I'm sure, but I figure I wanted to hear from you guys, because in my mind I heard that there's a possibility of some people manipulating the way that the system works, get there to be that aim assist for a controller, but for a mouse and keyboard, and then have them, in a competitive environment be, have a leg up. And I just didn't know if you guys had heard anything about that.
I think an interesting question is how Bungie, and maybe with Blizzard's helps, anti-cheat stuff will work, because that's what did for the Division early on, right? There was all sorts of shenanigans going on in the Dark Zone. They need, I guess that's one of the reasons it's maybe good that the PC version's arriving late, is they'll be able to really just completely focus on getting that launch right, because exactly like Pat was saying, if it's bad at launch, that taste sticks around, I think, in people's mouths.
Yeah, for sure.
People don't forget. Yep.
I just went out and bought a PS4 Pro today, because I was like, I got to experience the beta in 4K in big quotation marks. Mm-hmm. And the guy was like, the guy that I bought it from, he's like, what are you going to play on this? It's like, Destiny 2. He's like, I played the first one for about a month, and I hated it. I was like, did you just play Taken King at all? He's like, no, I read it was okay though. It's like, so what? Yeah. That initial impression is huge.
Yeah.
My girlfriend, who's a games journalist as well, she was playing Destiny when it launched and got to level, what was it then, 20 at the end when you finished? She got to level 20, said, I've completed the game, I'm not playing anymore. Like, I'm done. Why would I keep going?
The end game was not very well defined. Yeah.
Dude, I still don't know what that big thing in the sky in the Black Garden was. The pulsing thing? What is
darkness?
It? Is it?
That's what it says. It's like, hey, there's a manifestation of the darkness. We need to kill these crazy garden statues now. Yeah, you killed a god. It's like, did I?
I almost feel like we gotta throw the whole like Destiny 1 like story, just away with the bathwater. Just kind of start over in Destiny 2. It feels.
The good news is they've thrown that right out.
Yeah, basically.
You're going to get your wish poke.
Yeah, but I think people are going to have a hard time not bringing over the thousands of hours of like what they've learned in Destiny 1. So
especially like you have so many conversations on like the Destiny Reddit, or if you watch Bife's channel and he goes deep into the lore, or Mylan Games, or anybody watching all that lore and just like learning about all these characters and these events that aren't necessarily in Destiny either. They're in the Grimoire, but like people who are interested enough in the game to learn all this stuff and then to find out, well, that stuff might not move forward. That's really disappointing to a lot of people.
Yeah, it is. A lot of people have been talking about that, being disappointed about it. I don't feel like they're cutting it completely, but there's two ways to look at it. Do you have a really intense, complete view of the whole universe that's in Bungie, or that they in Destiny that they made, or do you focus on these individual storylines? And I think they're taking the individual storyline path, which I think is smart. It means that we have a ton of questions that are unanswered. Just tons. They could come back with the DLC and talk about the Stranger at some point, maybe in Destiny 3 or something. But it's
or in some DLC somewhere down the line.
Yeah, exactly. A Destiny 2 DLC or a DLC even in Destiny 3. But their approach now, I think, which is definitely smarter because it gives us something to actually feel like we can identify with, is here's a concise storyline. Your tower was taken out and the Cabal did it. Go kick their ass.
Yeah.
When I talked to Luke Smith after the reveal event, we had like an hour conversation for the magazine feature, and I think that was where that quote about the Stranger not coming back came from. And I didn't get any kind of sense of enthusiasm for him for revisiting that as a topic. And I'm sure it's the kind of thing they might bring back in a Destiny 3 or 4 as a cool piece of fan service. But I think like the reality is, as we all know, like those things were added as band-aids to try and just keep the story from falling apart. So I don't think they kind of want to almost keep kind of like finesse the band-aid.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want to finesse the band-aid, but they like the Grimoire is there, and they've got some really deep stuff. Like apparently the Heart of Darkness is what we killed, and it was the Vex tech running the Heart of Darkness. Like you get none of that Grimoire when you play the game. You just get like a big black blob right there, and they're shifting forward towards being concerned about maybe there's too much story with this, which I think is good. I want them to blast us with story.
There was that video this week with the two guys talking about the story, which one of them was like super enthusiastic. And I think he was saying, like the danger was there might be too much. So that seems unlikely to me.
Yeah, it does seem unlikely.
I can tune out too much. I get frustrated when there's not enough.
As long as it's skippable. It's got to be skippable. We all know that we're going to, eventually we're going to get through the story and we're going to be repeating a lot of that stuff because that's what Destiny does, right? So, I mean, it's fine to have a ton of cutscenes, but it's all got to be skippable.
Exactly. Or even if there's a bunch of reading literature. Like for me, when I played Skyrim, I got in there, I saw there was a bunch of books. I could read those books, and I was like, I ain't going to read these books. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. I'm going to play the game, and then if at some point I find myself waking up in the middle of the night being like, what was that they were trying to tell me those books? Then I'll start digging deeper,
I find it weird when people say, "Oh, I wish the Grimoire was in the game," because I think you're right, Tef. Like reading in the game is a terrible way of disseminating information. You don't want to stop shooting aliens just to scroll down a data pad for 10 minutes.
Exactly.
Like the BioShock way, the voice things that you can find. It's like, play the thing I just got. Cool. I can listen to that while still go kill stuff.
Exactly.
Or not.
Yeah. God, in BioShock, when you pick up that the thing that plays those audio logs, it's like this portable record player that's about this long. It's about 3 feet long. I just imagine Booker like having that on his shoulder, walking around just slaying people while listening to whatever the hell that just was. The record spinning in it at maximum speed.
Well, games like GTA and The Witcher do it well, where you'll kind of be in transit from one location to the next, and someone will be with you on a horse or in a car, like telling you the stuff. I think that's the thing they need to do is tell.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really like the homecoming mission where you start off and it got actually some flack in certain places, but like right in the middle of the mission, all of a sudden you had this like cutscene, you know, and it was exciting and it was cool, and you saw Amanda Holiday, and you know, you're flying through this battle. It was a cool cutscene and it was exciting, you know.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll fight beside those guys, bro? Like Ikora and
I mean, we started off with fighting right next to Zavala, which was really cool.
But he was kind of like, he was almost like on a loop, you know? He wasn't really...
Yeah.
You know, he was always going to do the same stuff each time.
He wasn't another guardian in your fire team.
You mean...
That's true. I don't know.
A bubble factory for you right there.
Right? You want, like in Halo Reach, when you could go through like a mission with your team, and they would have conversations with you at various points, right?
And you could choose to kill them to get their ammo. Yes.
You couldn't kill the main NPCs. But you could trade weapons with them. You know, you'd be like, oh, give me that sniper rifle and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the way that Halo Reach drew me in. I thought the story was really good. I think we're going to see some of that, and I hope we see some of the open world storytelling from games like most recent games like oh god, man, it just jumped out of my head. The Horizon Zero Dawn. Man, that's such the open world aspect and how the stories are told, and being able to, if you want to dive in deeper, there is some really deep like lore you can actually like watch and go and investigate this world, you know, using kind of like much more evolved audio logs. Remember when we played you know, ODST and those things, and they had those audio logs, and even Halo 3 they had the little stations. I mean, a much more advanced version of that is what you see in Horizon Zero Dawn, where you can actually get that backstory and a really interesting side conversation about the world that you're, you know, shooting aliens in, instead of just being there.
How would you guys feel if your Ghost did the type of thing that Division had, where it suddenly summoned up some holograms and had this conversation going on about, you know, at this point during the collapse, this conversation, you know, they scanned some data.
As long as it's skippable. I'm okay with that. As long as it's skippable.
Yeah.
The first time it's going to be cool. Maybe the second time it's going to still be cool. But, you know, after you run that same strike or you run that same mission 40, 50 times, you're going to want to walk right past that.
You know, it's interesting, though. I'm actually thinking of it in the patrol zones. You go to one of these areas and...
Oh, so you'd have to activate it specifically, manually?
Yeah. Like you come up and your Ghost wants to scan this piece of data pad or something, and it reenacts a hologram type of scene in there.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because that's kind of like how Horizon Zero Dawn does it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I really like those echoes and how that plays out. It's just... It's going to be interesting. I mean, they say there's a lot of story, and you're going to be able... So much story. A lot of story. They want people concerned
about too much story.
So much story. And I'm hopeful. I mean, mainly because in order to write that level of story, I'm hoping that, like, I'm thinking of the way that a novel is written, or a story or a movie, you know, is written. If you're going to go through the effort of writing a bunch of sequels together at one time, you're going to have to make sure your storyline is intact and the narrative makes sense, right?
Yeah.
The
Destiny 1 was not that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. You know, we've now spent more time talking about Destiny's story than Bungie did in Destiny 1.
Adam Neely in chat brought up a good point of, like, when you scan a ghost and you revive a dead ghost, wouldn't it be awesome if that actually activated a scene?
Yeah. So you see how the ghost died?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah,
well, like
oh
in
my
the
god,
Division,
seeing the ghost die? That would be heartbreaking.
The Division, how you have like the scene where you can walk around.
Echoes.
The echoes, but like have that play out like a movie, right?
I want to walk through it. If it's going to be a hologram type of projection, I want to walk through it.
Yeah.
I want to get uncomfortably close to one of the characters and then back off, and then get uncomfortably close again and then back off.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think for me, like, my big concern, and I wrote about this, I wrote like a piece recently about the kind of things I'm still potentially worried about with Destiny 2. And top most of those is just like, however much story they put in, the community is always going to blow through it in 2 or 3 days. That's just the reality of it. Even if they were to, like, treble the size of the Taken King or quadruple the size of Destiny 1. Like, people are so hungry and they're so like just hot for the game that they're always going to complete whatever that kind of campaign content is very quickly. And the stuff I feel like we don't know about yet really is like what that end game economy looks like, what the motivation is for keeping going. I say motivation like I haven't kept going for 3 fucking years, just plowing weekend after weekend into it. So, you know, the desire to stay in the world and keep enjoying the gunplay is always going to be there. But the things to do with like how they're changing, you know, the shift to static weapon rolls and that are things that have made me very nervous about the potential kind of replayability of it. And I know it feels like there's a general concern as well anyway about they're clearly going for as broad an audience as they can, and they have to do right, because this is a game that costs like hundreds of millions of dollars to make. The
biggest thing that I think a lot of us are worried about is just they obviously want to have that broad audience in there. They want to focus on a lot of people that, you know, just getting as many people in as possible. But in doing so, they might alienate both player bases in the process. Because right now, the thing we care about is in game. If you play the game a ton, you're basically listening to the podcast and whatnot. You're probably a person that cares about playing the game for an extended amount of time. You want to know what you can do once you hit max light. What do we do now? Why do we log in every day?
Why do I come back week after week with my friends? Why are we driven to keep playing together?
Yeah.
Well, I think the answer. Go ahead, Tufty.
I was gonna say I started playing Warframe. Warframe is a very grindy game, and it is. But
understatement.
I enjoy the grind. I am a person who enjoys things to grind for, and it really highlighted the lack of grind that there is in year 2 and 3, where in year 1 you got a new exotic or you got a new legendary, and you're like, oh, this is amazing. Let me plan out today's and tomorrow's bounties for how I'm going to level this thing out. Okay, so you equip it, you do your thing, you do your activities that you do for that day, get your bounties done, and you made sure you got your bounties done because you only had a limited set in comparison to what you have right now. You got those done, and then you level it up, and you make sure you had your resources and all that, and you'd have your weapon. And arguably, it was too much of a grind in year 1, but that grind made you come back and want to do your bounties to get that done. Fast forward to right now, when you get a new exotic, here's a set of motes of light, pump it full of glimmer and whatnot, and then boom, you're done. Like there's no reason for me to log in, go get those bounties, and actually do daily activities anymore, other than I just want to shoot aliens with the guns that I have.
Are we looking at this from like the aspect of we've been playing Destiny for 3 years, and for 2 of those years we've gotten very little new content? So if there's less of a grind, but we're constantly getting new content in a like, imagine it's Destiny 1 or Destiny year 1, and we get, you know, 3 pieces of content per year. Like the grind, it can be quicker to get to, you know, the absolute peak, but just as you hit that, there's a new DLC coming with, you know, more things to grind for and new experiences to share.
I think it's all going to depend on how big those loot pools are, though, honestly. Like, so my concern is, like, as long as there was something for me to chase, and Luke's talked about this on Twitter, like, you know, the desire of the white whale kind of item that you were out there hunting for, whether that's a cape or a particular gun. That's the reason I logged in. The only times I've stopped playing Destiny in 3 years was when I genuinely felt there was nothing left to chase. I mean, I was playing, like, just strikes looking to get skeleton keys because I wanted to get, like, my dream roll on a Treads Upon Stars, which isn't even a remarkable scout rifle, but I like the look of it and I like the sights it can come with. So I kept going for that. Whereas with static rolls, and I seem to have freaked out about this a lot more than other people plenty of people seem chill about it, and they're like, well, I don't want to chase for god rolls, so like they're happy. But like once you've got like one Devil's Dawn, you don't give a shit about Devil's Dawn.
Right.
Like, maybe you want to get all 3 different elements of it, but aside from that.
Yeah. And so what they do with the weapon mods, I think, is going to be really interesting. I was listening to your guys' conversation last week about that, and obviously we don't know much at the moment. But I guess my worry is that, you know, making high-res assets for a game like Destiny is very time-consuming and hard. But what I feel like they need to do is have like an exponentially bigger loot pool for this new kind of route they've gone down to go, because otherwise the bigger concern for me is like everyone's saying, well, it's cool if people understand that, you know, this gun is good versus this gun is bad, it takes some of the confusion out. But to me, like, you remember when the vendor was selling like Hung Jury or was selling like Palindrome and they had like amazing locks, just everyone had them, and like that's not bad. Like, you shouldn't be like trying to like be elitist and deny people from having good guns. But to me, like, the whole promise of Destiny was, create your legend, really make yourself unique. But if everyone's rolling with the same gun and the same perks in their subclass, then it feels a little bit less.
So there's two problems here. I'm with you on that one. I don't like the idea of static rolls. I like RNG. I like random.
I bet
guns.
you do, Arnie. I bet you do like it.
I maybe it's mild, nice. No, but I like that, right? But then at the same time, I keep that in mind, right? Then at the same time, I found myself complaining quite a bit about the game being unbalanced, right? So, I can't have my cake and eat it too, right?
But is that PvP or PvE, Pope? Because I think a lot of the stuff to do with balance is like irrelevant to PvE.
I completely agree. And this has been my biggest gripe about this is the insistence that we have the same gun in PvE is the same gun in PvP.
Amen.
I have been preaching this since the beginning that you need to, create guns that have specific PvE perks that only affect the pizzazz of that gun is only available in PvE through the perk set. Yeah. And they started doing that with Taken King, right? A little bit, with affecting minions of the darkness and all that stuff.
They got to fully embrace it because we need weapons that are straight up bonkers, straight up crazy in PvE.
Yeah,
the Borderlands vibe.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't.
And why not have in PvP like the guns you buy from the Crucible vendor? They already come in like a different color. There's already the sense that they're a different type of gun. Just have the stuff that drops after PvP matches that you buy from the robot guy. That's your PvP gun, and you still would. They could just balance those with static rolls perfectly. But like this obsession they've got with like making it unilateral is crazy to me. Because they've already shown, like with the shotgun stuff, that it can be done separately, right? Like, and like it doesn't confuse anyone. No one kind of freaks out and goes, "My shotgun had slightly less range. Like I don't want to play the game anymore."
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
The fortunate thing about this system is we won't have that thing that basically happened all in Destiny 1 with the shotguns are too powerful. Nerf all of shotguns, but now this one shotgun is still the best thing because you just move the scale over.
Yeah.
They really fine-tune that a lot more in Destiny 2, they've said.
That is the thing with static rolls for me, is that there'll be people say like they think the meta is boring now. I think the meta will be even more obvious. Patrick will put out a video saying this is the scout rifle to have, like, and this is why, and like everyone will be rolling with it.
Yeah.
I don't see how they're going to avoid that.
Well, and my hope is that with the mod system is that you'll be able to, everybody will start with the same weapon, but based on what you find in the world as far as mods and what you prefer and what your play style is, you'll actually be able to modify that weapon to suit your needs, and it'll actually feel more personalized than an RNG based role that you found in the world because you customize this weapon based on how you like it. Well, that's my hope.
That's the rub right there is how pervasive and how I don't know, man. How affecting are those mods? Like,
we have no idea. We don't even know what they are.
I personally hope
purely
they're
cosmetic.
I personally hope they're not just cosmetic.
Do you think it would be just like a stat, or do you think it could be so much as like adding a perk like Outlaw? Because that would be cool. Like if you
that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping it's like you can do Outlaw, or you can do Rifle Barrel, or Rangefinder, or a stock, or a bigger magazine, and maybe like as you go up in the tier level, maybe there's more mod slots available, or there's higher.
It'd be amazing.
There's exotic mods, just like there are.
It'd be incredible is if all these mods only worked in PvE. That would be
great.
It would be phenomenal. And then you just have you have a nice balanced primary focused Crucible and some just crazy mods that you can get that are exotic for weapons that make
only affects minions
happen.
of the darkness.
Well, it only works in PvE. Yeah, exactly.
I think it's important to be having these conversations now too, because we know that they're still balancing all this stuff, right? They're still looking at this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they're not ready to call the investment system and the weapon balance and how all this stuff is going to work finalized yet. I think they're still waiting to see how players react in the beta too.
I think maybe a small bit of that is true, but I think they're holding the progression system and the investment system very close to their hearts and saying, we've probably did a gamble on this, and we're not going to say anything about it until we actually get into the game on September 6th. Because they're like Mark Noseworthy said, there's a lot of things that we're not going to share or talk about until
that was an interesting comment.
Yeah,
because he said that in regards to somebody asking about the Night Stalker.
Right. Yep. Yeah, that was very interesting. So in terms of progression and investment, I mean, we haven't seen an engram drop in Destiny 2. Mm. They haven't shown us anything in terms of, hey, here's how your progression's working. I'm expecting to see something, just a little bit, like a drop of a weapon out of a Crucible match in the beta. But beyond that, we don't know how that stuff is going to even unfold.
That was funny on the Nvidia stand at E3. They had like they had it set up to play in 4K on like really powerful PCs, but they had like this instruction card, and it went, get in there and start grabbing all that sweet loot. And I was like, dude, there's no loot. There's no loot dropping in this game. That's not how this works.
There's ammo. There's ammo dropping. That's about it.
You mean the loot in my inventory? Thanks.
It was funny on those E3 builds. Like you loaded up the character for the first time, it just flooded you with loot.
Yep.
Well, it's gonna
Tim,
be
when you played it at the DRE, did you also play it at E3?
Yeah, but it was the same. It was the same build. Certainly, the one on the Nvidia stand, which is what I played, was the same build. I don't think it had the Arc Strider even.
No. Well, one of the interesting things that I found, and we've talked about it before, but I'd like to get your input, is that everybody walked into that room together, right? And you start off by seeing all the PlayStations, and everybody's like looking at it. It looks great, and then you walk around the corner, and they had these 60 hertz IPS 4K displays, and everybody's just stops in their tracks, stands, and looks at it slack-jawed. It was impressive to look at. Like you said, it was running on very powerful hardware on those monitors. I think you get those monitors now for like $800. They were like $1,300. But they were really nice. It was.
I know which monitors those are actually.
It's the Acer Predator, I believe.
When are we gonna hear the specs?
I mean, it may be not until like a month out from launch, even a couple of weeks from launch. So it's often quite late that they announce that.
Why is
a week before
Why
beta?
Is that?
Because, like you're saying, not everything's completely locked down.
The optimization is one of the last things.
It's a bit of a moving target. But I mean, I've spoken to David Shaw a couple of times, who's the PC lead at Bungie, and he's been pretty insistent that the specs, at least to getting it running at 60 at 1080p, would not be obnoxious. And I think given the fact the game, the core engine does have to run on PS4 and Xbox One, that's going to be the case as well. Like, I'm sure with like a 1070, you'd be absolutely fine running it 1080p at 60.
Yeah, like no hiccups whatsoever.
Yeah. I mean, not at all. It'll look great.
You make the assumption that it was running on a 1080 Ti at the DRE. It was pretty flawless, I thought.
But it was also 4K 60. 4K 60 is
that's what I'm saying.
Way more heavy.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, but I mean, it was smooth. I mean, it was.
Yeah,
it felt great.
It was in a really good spot. I thought it was curious that Bungie didn't want to release the PC footage at that point, but you can draw your own conclusions as to why.
It crashed on me a couple of times, actually.
Yeah. I think they had like an i7 77,000 as well was the CPU running it. But yeah, like I think in answer to the question you're asking, Brian, like. Like I said, I've sunk like 2,500 hours into the PlayStation version. But when I got to that event, I was very much wanting to see and feel something new. And I think that some people came away who just played the PlayStation version, which is not to say that it's bad, because that's absolutely not what I'm here to say. But like, that's where some of those like, oh, it's Destiny 1.5 comments I think came from, because fundamentally the gunplay isn't broken, they haven't fixed it. But on PC, and of course I am duty bound to say this, but I felt like it felt like a different game. It looked like a different game. I think people in our world are going to be really impressed with it when they see it. I'm curious to know what you guys think the public are going to make of the beta, because you've played most of the content that's going to be in it anyway, barring visiting the farm and hanging out with Old Yeller and all that sort of stuff. Do you think people are going to be under or overwhelmed by that strike, that mission, the mode they've got?
I feel like the PvE is going to be too easy for a very large majority of the players. Once you understand movement in the game, it's like aiming's intrinsic to all FPSs for the most part, and aiming felt really good. Aiming and shooting felt very easy. So you're not having to fight against weapons. You're not having to really control recoil. It's Everything felt good, not handholdy good, but just the level of difficulty of enemies, it's not going to be that big of a challenge, at least in the stuff that we played. So if people are wanting to go in for that, they might get kind of a bad impression off of it.
I think people are going to spend 90% of their time in PvP.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's where most of the content is, basically. I disagree with Patrick because I think when I first played it, and I played it on the PlayStation, I was overwhelmed by the scale of everything. It definitely felt like Destiny, and it looked like Destiny, except everything was bigger and more bombastic. You know, like being in that quarry with the big drill thing that's spinning around, it just felt nothing like that is in Destiny 1. Right? It's a different level of
I agree with building. I agree with that statement, but I was more in regards to like PC players who may not have played Destiny and they're wanting to come in to play Destiny. They might not like the difficulty, but I definitely agree with that statement, though, that, yeah, on second thought, the game definitely felt bigger. The environments were way more open.
Yeah, and more dynamic. There's just more stuff happening, too.
I think there's two types of people that are going to be looking at the beta. The hardcore people that already play Destiny 1 right now, they're going to jump in, they're going to play that story mission and that strike, and they're going to be like, this is a different version of Destiny. This is not what we're used to right now. Just like you said, much more space, much more bombastic, much more stuff happening in a way that makes you really excited to see what they're going to do for the raid. Because if it looks like that in your single player, in your strike mode, then the raid is going to be ridiculous. But I think also most of that category of people don't expect there to be a lot of PvE because we don't want to get incredibly spoiled as a community right now. We're kind of afraid of that. The people who are coming in for the first time after maybe playing Destiny for like a day and then bringing it back to GameStop or something like that, I don't know how those people are going to react, honestly. I think I'm too inserted into the Destiny world to really have a fair look at how somebody might react to it.
I think the story that they show in the Homecoming is going to help with those people. Like the big complaint, like that complaint was I played through Destiny, I got to level 20, and there was nothing else for me to do. You know, that I don't know if that complaint is going to get solved. We'll have to wait. But the fact that the story was so kind of mishmashed and like not there, and people who had that complaint, I feel like this Homecoming mission makes a strong case for there is much more compelling story, and it's going to be told in a better way.
If they can hold that consistency, Briar, I think that's where it's at. If they can hold that consistency of storytelling and, you know, cutscenes, and it feels like a mixture of Halo storytelling with like these cutscenes and just the NPCs, and it just feels like the story flows better. If they can carry that through Destiny 2, and that's not just a beta, you know, example to lure people in, I think that we're going to be. A lot of those casual players, a lot of that base is going to stay.
Yeah, and it's just fun to play. Like we played the DRE, and it felt good. It felt fun.
It did.
We had fun. You know, me, Tefty, and Pope all played the strike together, and we had a team wipe on that.
Yeah.
On that big spinning drill thing, and we're all laughing and giggling because it was like we didn't even see it coming, and you know it was funny. And then, you know, PC players, they get this like optimized version of the game that runs at 60 frames per second at 4K. Like it
uncapped.
Just looks astounding.
Uncapped, Briar.
Right. I mean, I can't tell you how much time I put into getting my setup ready for 4K in the last 2 weeks. It's ridiculous.
I got some new monitors. Yay!
Are you guys all going to stream the PC version over the PlayStation one once that's out?
I'll definitely stream it for sure. I'm planning on playing all three platforms. We'll see how that turns out once we're in December. You know.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to keep, because I'll be playing obviously when the PlayStation 1 comes out and then switching over. But I'm going to keep one character on PlayStation because I'm in a clan, and the clan is predominantly obviously PlayStation people at the moment, and it would be a shame to I'd miss those guys.
Of course, yeah.
I know very well in my heart that I will play the PlayStation version. The PC version will come out. I'll start playing that, and I'll go back to the PlayStation version and be like, man, it looks so good at 60 frames per second 4K.
I mean, even when I've been playing, you know, if you're playing like a PC shooter, even if it's like a Wolfenstein or something, you go back to playing Destiny, it suddenly looks like a flip book. Your eyes adjust to it after like 10-15 minutes, and you kind of go, well, what was the problem? But it's jarring.
At first it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember when Battlefield had a beta out, right? And Battlefield was in 60 frames per second.
Mm-hmm.
And Battlefront, I think it was, the Star Wars one.
Yeah, that was in 60.
Yeah. And so I remember playing that.
Looked
and
really good at 60 too.
It was pretty. And then I would go back to play Destiny, and I would almost get like a motion sickness a little bit.
You know, I had for a little while here a 180 hertz monitor, and I was playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, I think at like 140 frames per second, and it's just a smoother, like nicer experience to play at those higher frame rates. So, you know, it's going to be hard switching back and forth. I think we'll do it because we want that PlayStation exclusive loot.
Is it enough to keep people from jumping ship? I mean, I've heard a lot of people going back and forth, and you know, the quality of the PlayStation exclusives in D1, I think the answer is no.
Okay. If you have both available to you and you care about resolution, FPS, mouse and keyboard, just the input device as well is a big factor into it. You know, you're going to play on PC. You know, a weapon or two and a strike be damned.
Well, I'm going to get the PC version, and to be honest with you, I have never ever played mouse and keyboard for my games, and I don't enjoy doing it. I've tried.
You play it with a controller.
You can still play controller.
I know. I'm saying that I tried PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds and all that. So I'm going to be playing Destiny 2 on PC with a controller, and if the resolution is as high as you guys are saying, and it looks as pretty and all this stuff,
too,
I know, man. That's why I'm getting it. That's why I'm getting it. And I there's a good chance that I'm gonna stick a good character on PC and play it.
You're saying that during your charity events, you won't be putting your PC player on the chopping block? It's going to be your PS4 player that gets on the chopping block?
do you guys think the serious PvPers in the community, like, you know, the guys you have on the show week in, week out, do you think they'll migrate to PC and that's where that scene will happen?
Some will. I think most people are going to go half and half and just see what happens, because
that's how I feel too.
I think the competitive. It really depends on the first. Like, if there is a tournament style that comes out, and that tournament is got any money behind it, and that tournament is backed by a console like PlayStation or Xbox, I think this would be a great opportunity for Xbox to give an FU to PlayStation.
That's not happening, Pope. There's no way. There's no way.
There's no private matches anyway now, right? So you have to. You're gonna do the log. You're gonna have to do the start match at the same time.
That's gonna come. That's gonna come.
You got to use matchmaking to actually queue against each other.
I bet that comes pretty quickly too. I wouldn't be surprised.
They said it's actually going to be pretty close to the launch window, actually.
Yeah.
So
what if it's in the PC version first? Oh man!
I mean, if it does become like a MLG Activision sponsored event, like we see for Call of Duty, it's definitely going to be played on PlayStations.
Yeah,
there's no doubt.
It's really interesting. I mean, like, it's tough to say exactly what kind of competitive scene is going to come out of Destiny 2. It's obviously being worked more towards a competitive experience. There's more balance. They're strictly going for more balance. They're making our melees the same, for God's sakes. Finally, same melees. The ability spam is going to be cut down heavily in Destiny 2. Just like looking at a control match, it's like you get a super once, maybe twice, you know.
Yeah, like the first day they showed some of that Sentinel footage, which, by the way, if you ever
oh my god,
the Sentinel footage looked really good, so much so that even me, a diehard gunslinger, was going like, that was really nice.
Sexy
It
as
looks
hell.
like a lot of fun.
That was like a lot of fun, and just shooting someone with a golden gun. But he only got his super up, I think, like once during the match.
Yeah, that was one. Yeah, just it.
And like once, and he was slaying.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, that's the super that does everything as well. He can use it like the bowling ball. He can use it to make the bubble. He can just walk along with it.
Shoulder charge you. It's like
I have a question.
It health regens upon kill. Do you see that? Oh,
yeah, it does everything.
Wait. Take what we saw about the Sentinel, right?
yes.
And then
Glorious.
take what we saw about the Warlock Voidwalker. What is up with that Nova bomb?
The
Did you
spirit
see
bomb?
The beach ball Nova bomb.
He sends a spirit bomb over.
It's a straight up spirit bomb. Like it's a slow moving orb that tracked people and then exploded into other Axion bolts.
That
It's
was
like,
incredible.
oh god,
Yeah, it did kind of track that guy around the corner.
Oh, it totally did.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it
but I
tracks.
mean,
I was really concerned about it being not a roaming super, and then after realizing the super itself roams, I was like, "This is incredible."
I hope that's like one version of the super, and you've got like on the other perk node, you can still throw the fast one.
Oh, Lance.
Okay.
Like Lance.
Yeah.
What if Lance was 3 mini ones?
I run Shatter actually. Anyway, I'm a Shatter guy.
Oh yeah, 3. Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I can't aim either.
yeah, all I know is that Titans are finally getting their due.
Well, defenders are amazing.
No. We've been kept down too long. It's time for us to rise up.
Briar, what are you talking about?
Right, you're a day one warlock.
Yeah, you're a day one warlock.
I know, and I've been basking in the glory of being a warlock for 3 straight years, and I gotta say, it's time for Pope's Class to get its moment in the sun.
Right. That's right.
It's been too long.
Why would you play Striker after seeing the Sentinel footage?
Right?
I don't know.
That's exactly how I feel too.
Phenomenal.
I want to throw my
handicap
golden gun
yourself?
at people.
Yeah, what if you ran out of your golden gun and then picked up your gun and chucked it?
Hey, that was in Borderlands, right?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah,
you
TDR
could
weapons.
throw your gun and
You should have that golden gun to be able to throw their gun, and it's like a grenade too at the very end. Come on.
I would dig that. I would definitely dig that.
Do you guys have a sense of how many subclasses they're going to ship with? Are you guessing 6?
I think 6. I've been saying 6 from the beginning.
I think 6.
And
I've been saying.
Yeah.
I was saying 12 originally, but then I went down to 9.
Thank God you went down to 9, man.
I think it'll be 6 just because I think they're going to want to leave something in the pipe for the DLCs and for down the line to freshen things up. And I think probably making those subclasses is harder than we imagine.
Yeah.
That Mark Noseworthy comment did get me wondering, though.
Yeah, that was
Would
interesting.
there just be a surprise 3 subclasses unlocked?
Well, imagine those other imagine there's 3
surprise.
subclasses that aren't Night Stalker and Tickle Fingers and whatever the other one
Did
is
they just-
that are just brand new, just drop out of the sky.
What if they just like time gated it and they're like, suddenly there's a Void Hunter. What does it do? You find out.
Yeah.
Right?
That would be sweet.
That would be
Yeah,
incredible.
right. Like, what if you unlocked it by leveling up?
You have to level up both your other subclasses.
Or you have to like do
Yeah.
like a special quest, like
and then
on
you have the ability to
a
discover
Thursday
it.
morning in the middle of October.
There you
Like
go.
Reddit lights up because somebody found out.
No, like what if
what if
it was all the lost sectors were officially, once you've unlocked all the lost sectors and you did all your subclasses, and then it was like new quest from some distant place.
I assume Patrick has like a Reddit alarm that if a post gets a certain amount of upvotes, it summons him, like wakes him up in the middle of the night because he knows that there's a piece of content been released. and he has to
Dado
make
and
it
I
again.
have like an agreement where it's like if something's happening and we don't see each other, we call each other to make sure we're up.
It's like a burner phone that isn't used for anything else.
Yeah, it's just it's a Dado phone. It's a red Dado phone. No, like the truth is like during the start, like at Taken King or Rise of Iron, like we just didn't really sleep that much. That was what we did.
That was exciting though. It was so much fun. I understand that you got burnt out because you were trying to make do the content creation, but the community was having a blast.
Oh yeah.
it was great.
I got burnt
I
out
understand
doing-
it nearly killed you, but screw you guys.
Yeah, it was entertainment, right?
I burned out doing content for both Planet Destiny and my channel at the same time because I was still working there for like the first week and a half of Rise of Iron, and then still trying to like build up my channel, but we hadn't really announced that I was leaving yet. So it's like, why is he posting to his channel as well? Yeah, so that was a fun time.
I really do hope they hold fire on the raid. I heard you guys talking about it last week, and I think that's one of the few things that does suck a little bit about the PC launch coming after, that you have
Definitely.
to assume the raid will have happened and it's going to have been spoiled to hell, and people are going to be going in there with like full knowledge of how all the encounters work, which is a pity for sure. But especially as it's going to be for a bunch of people on PC their first time of raiding. Like all of us who've played them on console, I think have got pretty used to the formula. But for people, I've taken some PC colleagues through PlayStation raids, and they were like, "What the fuck is this happening? Like this is like nuts." I mean, they've played them in MMOs, but it's different doing it as an FPS, right? You have to have that real Twitch coordination.
Yeah.
But I'm really hopeful. We wrote a thing about how like raiding, I feel like raiding is the biggest reason to be excited about Destiny on PC. I think that's the thing that's going to really hook people in. And I can already imagine coordinating a clan through Slack and using the Blizzard app to. They're saying you're going to have text chat as well, right, in the PC version.
Yeah.
So you should be able to just type messages out. I can't wait for that. It's just
the good thing is they are planning on syncing them up, like with the release of the DLCs. So it'll happen once, but hopefully they get it pretty consistent after that.
Yeah,
it is a bummer though.
I'd love for the PC community to be happy with the game, and for it to be a thriving part of this thing, because I'm telling you, man, at some point, I hope that Bungie allows modding.
Oh
boy.
Trying to think. Does Activision allow modding of any of their games?
There's you can do some of it in World of Warcraft and stuff. You can do add-ons to.
Well, what I would like to see is stuff from that I was really very impressed by in Skyrim. In Skyrim, the modding community in Skyrim just blew my mind, man.
Pipe, you should read our feature about sex mods in Skyrim. It's some dark territory.
What? Did you say sex mods?
He read it. Why do you think he started modding Skyrim in the first place?
That's how he stumbled onto Skyrim mods.
Tell me more.
If you've ever thought about banging a werewolf, Pope, that is the most vanilla thing you can do in there.
No!
I mean, going back to the modding thing though, one of my big hopes for Destiny on PC was that they would bring in for Destiny 2 some sort of Forge mode type thing, where people could create and share stuff, because that's where I think the PC community could probably make some amazing stuff without messing the game up like you've seen with GTA. The trouble GTA 5.
If they could share that with a console.
Yeah, imagine on a typical week in the TWAB, you had here are 10 new missions that people have created. The users get to use the geometry of a level, stick enemies in, stick things in, and Bungie could attach loot drops for the 10 most popular community things. That was kind of what I assumed the direction they were going for Destiny 2, because I think they've woken up to, or they know better than me. They just cannot satisfy the demand for content. So to me, finding some way that the users could create and share stuff
was make maps.
Yeah, exactly. Was really the answer. But they don't sit. But from talking to them, and I've done multiple interviews now, it doesn't feel like they've gone down that route at all. It feels like they've gone, we've got the same plan as Destiny 1, but we just got more efficient tools and a team that's a bit more battle hardened, and we know what the problems are. But the structure of what they're doing feels pretty similar to me.
Yeah, what's weird is they have a history of it too, with the Forge modes and Halo.
Yeah, exactly.
And then if you look at Halo 5's Forge, they made a PC version exclusively for Forge. You can't even play Halo 5 on PC, but you can run an extremely advanced Forge editor in PC to do amazing things. People are crafting some crazy stuff in Halo 5, and then they feature that stuff in the game. And
imagine what the community could do if they could just move around the enemies in Destiny missions and change the modifiers and stuff. People would be making bonkers stuff every week.
Well, what I'm more excited about. What I would, the thing that I miss the most is just not private matches, but custom games. Being able to create in a Forge world, and I miss Griffball, I miss, VIP, I miss all the things that came out of, that came out of that world, that modding, that creative world. I don't want to call it modding. It's that map builder, game builder, community stuff.
Because they launched their title, and then the community took hold of the Forge mode, and then they fostered it. They would feature maps. Every week they'd be like, all right, here's the latest maps that we really enjoy, and then they do a title update and start rotating in some of those maps into the actual rotation of queuing. And they became standards.
I remember. I mean, they're some of my favorite downloads. I mean. It's just the stuff that we played when we got on. And sometimes when you were playing competitive matches and you were stressed out, it would be a good clan leader would pull you out and drop you into a social private match, and you could laugh and joke around, and then you go back to playing again. And I'd like to see that for Destiny. I think this community, if you add in the PC side of it, and that's what I was talking about, Defty, when I talked about modding. It's that PC community having the tools and maybe the type of editor to be able to create that content for the consoles.
Yeah, and
I want it on both sides though. I want it on the PvE and the PvP side, so that you know, if I want to just try like some ultra challenging, you know, like something like somebody would build in Mario Maker that's just ridiculously hard and just fun to like throw my head out for a little while. It'd be fun to just like go in during some of those like quiet times of Destiny where there's not a whole lot of new stuff happening and go check out what the community has created for PvE levels, you know. Just
imagine if they gave us the lost sectors to edit.
Right.
You know, those were the things, these dungeon things where you could like pick the boss, move the enemies about. Mm-hmm. You could lock the loadouts. That's something they've been talking about this week, right? So you could go.
Oh, that'd be great.
You can only bring hand cannons and sniper rifles into this mission, right? Or whatever.
Or think about being able to create racing maps for your sparrows. You know, I mean, that would be so cool.
I don't want to think about that, but I mean, I am.
We want you to use your creative abilities for actual interesting stuff, not sparrow racing. You just go out and race your day.
Whatever. Well, I used to love mongoose racing in Halo 3.
So the point behind all this, also is that it exists. There is an example of it in the community or in the industry, and it's a successful example. And we should have
created by Bungie.
It was started by Bungie, and we should have it in Destiny at some point in its lifetime.
It would be so fun.
I'd love to stream. I'd love to be able to stream making maps, because if I were to stream making maps, I'd be able to use some of these awesome wild mics and headphones.
Whoa!
Some of the iconic gear that Blue creates. Even Tim here is using a Blue Yeti. Blue's award-winning products are the driving force behind professional musicians, internet creators, and countless elite gaming teams and Twitch streamers and editors, global editors of gaming magazines. Their Yeti USB mic is the internet's most popular microphone, and their Sadie and Lola headphones deliver insane sound and a very personalized fit. Blue offers everything you need to completely immerse yourself in the ultimate gameplay experience. Learn more about Blue at bluemic.com.
Guys, we're going to do Twitter questions tonight, but we do have a new feature that we are playing with today. If you guys go to slido.com and use the code P as in Paul 787, so it's Slido, SLIDO.com. You can actually ask questions, and I'll mix those in with the Twitter questions. So you can do that live right now.
Yeah, assuming you're a live audience member and not listening on iTunes or anything.
So we're just trying to create a way that we know we have Twitter questions. Those are asked ahead of time. There's hundreds of people in the chat that would like to participate. If you guys, I encourage you guys to go to Slido and upvote the questions that you really like. To encourage. We just encourage you to participate in that way, and it helps us if there's a certain question that you want to be asked and you see it there, make sure to upvote it. But we would really appreciate that. Can I interject and tell you guys a little story real quick before we start Twitter questions?
I mean, if it's a good one,
it's a sad story.
It's a sad tale.
Sad
it's
story?
A sad story.
You're gonna be a downer?
I don't know.
It's a bit of a downer.
Your Titan?
No.
Or your Hunter?
My Hunter. Oh. So I was earlier today. I don't know if you guys were at, you guys were all at GuardianCon, but our next door neighbor at GuardianCon, Scuff, right? And so Scuff gave me one of these controllers to try out. And
the Scuff Impact?
The Scuff Impact. And so we were neighbors to them, and during our conversation over the 2 days, I was bitching about the year one PS4 Scuff, just how much of a piece of garbage it was. Just
so that was based on the piece of garbage PlayStation 4 controller that launched with the PlayStation 4. That thing was terrible.
Well, look, you can put lipstick on a pig, but I agree. It was a absolute piece of garbage. I had so many problems with that. I had two of them. I consider it the worst expenditure of money I've ever spent on gaming, just in my opinion.
The problems with that controller, and it's not Scuff's fault, it was the PlayStation controller itself, is the thumbsticks would wear out, the triggers would wear out, it would only connect via Bluetooth, so you'd had any interference, your controller would just like stop functioning.
It would go. You'd like move the other. If you had two controllers next to each other, or your phone, anything with Bluetooth, and it would have ghost movements.
And since Scuff builds their controllers based off of the PlayStation controller, all those issues, well, except for the thumbsticks, moved forward.
And it was really like frustrating for me to bottom and just realize how much pieces of garbage they were. So we were sitting there, and so he's like, the scuff guy there just said, hey, you know what, try this out, try it out. And I honestly, I'm not sponsored by them, so just so you know, this is an unsponsored conversation, but I pulled out. Just whatever, you know what. So they gave me a controller to try out, so I brought it home and I tried it, and there's a reason why I'm telling this story. So I start messing around with the controller, right? And I'm thinking I'm in another room, right? In another room on the other side of the house, and I'm thinking, no way is this, gonna do anything. So I'm messing with the buttons. I'm, that these little sticks come out and you can change them, and so I was changing them around and I was programming the buttons and different doing stuff. Little did I know, but in the other room, my PlayStation was on, and by pressing the buttons, I deleted my Hunter. I deleted my Hunter from the other room playing with my PlayStation.
Oh my god.
For real?
For real. That is no lie. There's nobody else in my house. I thought I was hacked. I got a confirmation that I wasn't hacked, that it was from my IP, that I was here at home. I did not delete my Hunter. I was the only one here. Yes. So the connection to this is so good. It was from the other side of the house, activated my, So anyway, I just wanted to do a quick review on this. It's a little bit of a sad story.
Connection's so good, you can walk to McDonald's and delete your Hunters.
Delete your Hunters.
Delete your Hunters.
Deletions.
Use coupon code HOPE.
So I am not sponsored by them at all, and I'm telling you that the quality of this controller is 100 times better than what I experienced with the PlayStation 4. It's larger.
You ever had a sales job?
What's that?
You ever had a sales job?
No.
It shows.
You shouldn't. Yeah.
Why? Is it bad? Am I saying something that's bad? I'm saying things that are honest. So here's the truth. This controller, if in my 2 cents, because there's a lot of people on Twitter that were asking me about it. It's the size of a Xbox 360 controller. Yeah. It's really interesting.
Yep.
It is. I spent 10 years on Xbox 360, and I love that controller. And this immediately felt like it was the right size. It has 4 paddles on the back that you can program, and then the thumbsticks. I really like that you could adjust them. I mean, I know you guys are laughing because you've already done this, but for me and the casual gamer out there that can't afford them, this is a lot of money to spend on a controller, right?
Yeah, it is a lot. Yeah.
It's the only one I've ever had I bought.
So for big fingers, I'm an old man that has they have longer triggers now. They're freaking awesome. This cable now sits inside of a housing, so you can't snap it off.
Yep.
When you're, it's great. This is a great design choice. The only downside to this is that I found that when I I have a tower to charge my controllers. Because of this design choice, it won't charge anymore. Mm-hmm. So that's a downside, but definitely get the braided cable because this thing is awesome. It's 10 feet long.
Yep.
And and it's really high quality. So when I'm sitting, I went back and I sat in my couch because casual gamers do that. They play on big screen TVs on their couch. So I sat there and I played, and the connection was perfect. It didn't cut out once. I turned on 6 different Bluetooth devices around me just to try to get it to cut out, and it didn't.
Are you still a casual gamer if you move your PC to the living room so you can play on the big screen?
You are more casually sitting, yes. I just like the Pope's way of selling the controller, saying how good he was at deleting. It's like deleting a character. It's like a car salesman going, "Oh, the paint and rust job. You should really get that. I ran over a family of people, blood,
barely even felt it.
Barely even felt it. No rust yet.
Rides like a dream.
Wiped off right off the car. It's fine."
So there's a couple of really good features to it that I was very, very much impressed by. I know there's people on Twitter asking me would I spend the money on it? And I'm going to tell you right now that I think that the quality of this now, the only thing that is still for me to figure out is longevity. Right now, after 2 weeks of solid play with this, it feels good. I've adjusted the sticks on it. I went from the taller sticks to the shorter sticks to concave to domed, and I've settled in on the ones that I liked. But I'm telling.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's really easy, man. But don't do it when your PlayStation is off.
True.
Got it.
Do it,
Lesson learned.
and don't map your buttons on the back to like square and X, because that's one of those two that when you go over your hunter and you go delete with the square and then X to confirm. Yeah, that's what happens.
Can you plug it into the PC pipe?
You can.
Same as a DualShock.
You can, and it really connects. It was great. I haven't used it on the PC yet, so I haven't played with it yet.
Add some other software to use a PS4 controller.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right. So I haven't done that yet, and I'll definitely follow up with a review on that. But I'm really honestly what?
I'm crunching the.
When
chat.
are you gonna?
Blue is emailing right now. They want Pope to do the ads from now on.
I'm telling you now. I'm telling you that this is worth it. I like I said, I'm not sponsored by them. They did give me a controller, and so that's kind of cool, right?
That's awesome.
But it would. I would definitely. I'm gonna buy another one because I like to have two, one that charges and one that doesn't. So, but that was my experience with my Hunter. It's a sad tale. But I just, it was so unbelievable. I had to tell you guys about it.
Unbelievable.
And yeah. Anyway, so if for those you out there that are considering it, I really feel like the quality is there now that it will surprise you. Yeah. And I was also surprised that the with the Rumble Pack in there, it's still lighter than the PS4 controller.
It's a light controller. I like it for longer gaming sessions.
We should move to Twitter questions.
Anyway,
yes, please.
Sorry.
Andy Lydecker says, question for Timothy Clark. You can only have one. You can play Destiny 2 or Alexis and Ozil sign new contracts with Arsenal. What's your choice?
I'd play Destiny. And he would be mad about that. But I'd play Destiny. I mean, Destiny's given me more happiness than Arsenal have, probably, which is what he's referring to. So,
that's a soccer or a football thing for people who don't know, right? Did I get that right?
It is, yeah. I used to have a season ticket at Arsenal, and I ran a blog that was called Arse to Mouse. And for a while, Arsenal let me write on the club website, and then eventually one of them said, "What does the name of your blog mean?" I went, "Don't Google it, dude. Do not Google it." And they didn't ask me to write for them anymore. It was weird.
Gary Diaz says, on a scale of peasant to master race, can you rank the following platforms? Xbox One, PS4, gaming PC. Hint, every answer is incorrect.
Yeah, you're not going to win with that.
Look, I'll tell you, I'll give you the answer here. It's the person who can play on all three platforms, that's the master race, because he's not left out of anything.
Yeah.
A little altruistic
I'll
viewpoint
play that.
right there.
It's on Xbox, I'll play that. PlayStation, you got it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
You should always go where the games are, right, and where you're gonna have fun. Like I bought a Switch to fly to China recently. Like I don't think anyone should lock themselves to one platform, but I would obviously advise having a PC. There's some pretty good games on it.
Yeah, plus there's some sweet sales. You know how games like go down in price a bunch, or it's like, oh, I got Bastion and Transistor were on sale this past summer, or the Steam Summer Sale for like $3 a piece. Those are two of the top games in of all time for me. $3
I got
for
Vanguard out of that, and I am digging that game. I had missed that. I think it was on Xbox 360. I just completely missed it, and it is a fun game.
Which game?
Vanguard. It's made by the guys who made I think
the only Vanguard I know is True Vanguard, and also Card Fight Vanguard, trading card game.
Made, what's the one with the woman with the hair for a suit?
Oh, Bayonetta.
They made that game, and it's kind of like Gears of War, but amped up to 1,000 with movement speed and sliding around. It's really fun.
Oh, Vanquish. You mean Vanquish?
Vanquish.
Oh,
thank you.
Vanquish.
I was like, don't I know what this game is? Have I failed?
Yeah, I know. I was like, this sounds so familiar, but I've never heard of Vanguard.
I reviewed Vanquish back in the day on PlayStation when it first came out. So the movement system's nuts in it.
I love it.
Yeah, That's fun.
I bought that too, and like it runs at like 200 FPS. Delicious.
It's crazy on PC.
Listen to you and frame weights. You guys need to settle down.
You don't.
Right?
You don't know Pope until you've seen it. You should come over to Sacramento sometime, and I can show you the glory land.
But that question was in good fun. But do you guys think there is going to be like a clash of communities once the game's out on PC and console? People gonna? I saw Reddit. They've already instituted a kind of a no platform war discussion, which is probably a good idea.
There's already that with PS4 and Xbox. So
right.
Of course, it's going to happen with PC.
Just add another child into the mix and let the siblings fight.
Yeah, it's like there's going to be guaranteed strife and anger and arguments and stuff like that. But people who have a level head can actually think about it clearly and be like, all right, well, obviously this is for this and this is for that.
At least though the PC, like PC players are still going to miss out on the PlayStation exclusives, but they get something the PlayStation doesn't, and that's the superior graphical.
Well, what do we lose? We lose a sniper rifle that can shoot all the elements. That doesn't sound very good anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
The Xbox players still get screwed.
Yeah. They've been screwed so hard. When did they get Hawkmoon? Like last week? It's fucking crazy.
They never got Hawkmoon as far as most of us are concerned.
Yeah.
They never got the real Hawkmoon.
Well, as an Xbox player, I'm very excited. I'm very excited, guys, to log in October and decrypt some engrams and get myself a Jade Rabbit, Zen Meteor, play a new Strike. Maybe
dude,
a new PvP match.
Actually going to make a like how-to guide for that Strike and have it set to go live when they finally get it, and then a review for Jade Rabbit, but just label it all for Xbox users.
Yeah. Xbox version of Jade Rabbit.
Yeah.
All right, I got one out of Slido. I'm cherry picking this one because it was like the highest ranked one for like forever, all podcasts, and I'm just cherry picking it because of the guest. Basically, the best monitor for Destiny 2 on 4K 60 frames per second. Mike McNasty's asking.
I saw this question, so I looked up what we recommend for 4K, and it's pretty expensive. We recommend an Acer Predator XB32 1HK, which is about $1,000 on Amazon. So it's a lot of money. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not sure I'm going to play at 4K on PC. I don't think it's necessary. Your face is right in front of the screen. I've got like a 4K TV for the PS4, so I'll be playing there. But to me, the frame rate is bigger than the resolution. Much more
really.
The problem right now is that 4K monitors are about to take a giant leap forward too. They're about to be released with higher frame rates.
Yeah,
and that's coming later this year. So
they're going to start adding HDR in left and right as well. Like I would buy a 1440 monitor with a 144 hertz refresh rate. That's what I would do.
I just bought 2 new monitors. The Acer Predator XB1. I think there's a really long string of words in there, but it's 27-inch, 144 hertz, 1440p monitors, and if I had a 4K monitor, that'd be sweet too. But this is fine. This is more than enough. Plus,
it's a really good monitor. But like for 4K, like unless you've got like a giant panel and you want to sit a bit away from it, I think the monitor people will be pissed for me saying this, but I think the benefit is much more marginal than the frame rate is. The frame rate is the thing. You want to make sure you're running at 60 with the settings you want turned on.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't the PS4? It doesn't actually. It's like upscaled from 2K to 4K.
They have different ways of rendering it out, right? They have like the checkerboard effect, and then there's another way, and I'm not sure which method they're using.
But it's not like true rendered.
It's not native.
It's not native.
Some games are, but they're lower fidelity.
Have they said that Destiny 2 is not native 4K on PS4 Pro?
I think it has been shown because you can tell if it is native 4K, but I don't remember specifically because we do have the footage, and you can look at the footage and pixel count it.
Oh, you can actually compare the
like
PC capture and then the.
No, you can pixel count the PS4 without having a reference based on like if you look at movement and how edges render.
Oh, really?
Can pixel count. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, I would go for like a 27-inch either Asus or Acer, 144 hertz. 1440, and you'll be more than happy, I'm sure.
If you really are dead set on 4K, I would just wait till the end of the year. I have a Samsung UE590 that I can overclock to 70 hertz, which is a small improvement, but it's a TN panel. It's not It's not a IPS panel.
Difference between 60 and 70 is very marginal. When you go above 90, you start to see it more, and then when you hit 120, it's like there's a different kind of liquidness, and then above that, it's just like it becomes extremely liquid. You know, you begin to get used to it.
I really hope that we, continue this trend of talking about, tech for PCs.
Also, that Acer monitor, I did have that here at the house for a little bit. And if you want to use it as a PlayStation monitor as well, it was not compatible with 60 frames per second on HDMI.
Huh.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
So even though Destiny doesn't play at 60 frames per second, the PlayStation outputs 60 frames per second.
Do you need 4K? To 4K 60, does that need HDMI 2.0?
Yes.
Yeah, it would do, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So do you need a Pro for that, or a normal PlayStation couldn't do it?
I think you need a Pro.
4K at all.
Okay. Oh, I have a Pro now. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, because at that point, most of the, like on PC, you move to DisplayPort. It's like the optimum format.
The TV I've got is an OLED as well, and you had to tell the input to turn on the 2.0.
Oh, really?
To make it accept it and to make it accept the HDR.
Interesting.
4K is really still cutting edge, and it feels it when you're using it. Like when you're trying to set all that stuff up, it's a pain.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've literally spent the last 2 weeks trying to figure a way to capture it. And
I looked into getting a guy to
amount of money.
I looked into a guy to come calibrate the TV, and it was like he wanted to charge like $400, and it was like
it's rough. If
man.
you're trying to calibrate it, just I use a Spider 3 thing to calibrate all my monitors. It's so easy. Just plug it into USB, run the program, you're done.
Yeah.
Get one of those. It's great.
All right, Vince White, mouse and keyboard or controller?
Controller.
I will
if
say
I'm
this.
sitting at my desk, I'm playing a mouse and keyboard, but I have one of those Steam boxes that I will be playing Destiny 2 on in the living room from my PC, and I'll absolutely be playing on a controller there because I'm not setting up a keyboard like one of those lap things. It's like ridiculous.
I mean, just play whatever you enjoy most. Like if I'm playing The Witcher 3 on PC, I'll use a controller because it's a game that's been designed for playing on controller. I don't feel bad about that at all.
Go play Dark Souls on keyboard controls.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, for Destiny, I'll play mouse and keyboard on PC and controller on PlayStation.
I think it really comes down to how long you play and comfortability. I obviously play with both. So if I'm gonna sit back and relax, a controller is way more comfortable and easy to do that. With keyboard and mouse, I find posture is a lot more important. I mean, posture is important for when you're using a controller, obviously, but for long gaming sessions, posture is even more important when it comes to keyboard and mouse. So I can't really like sit back and slouch like this with keyboard and mouse as comfortably as I can with, say, a controller. So if I need the critical precision of aiming, keyboard and mouse. If I want to just relax and kick back for long hours, then controller is better.
If you're on patrol or grinding strikes, controller seems pretty nice.
Exactly.
Did you guys hear that with the most recent Gears, they started letting people play on PC against Xbox with keyboard and mouse versus controller?
I heard about that. Yeah.
Really? How's that going?
I assume it's a massacre.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know. If it's me using keyboard and mouse, it'll probably just be just as potato because I can't aim for shit on it anymore. You got to put in a lot of hours to actually get that one-to-one movement right.
Yeah, Mike C. and Frone. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, there's one of the guys I work with is like a CSGO, like absolute murderer, and his ability to hit headshots is like just disgusting. I'm probably older than Pope. My reflexes went a long time ago, so my hands are very shaky.
Mike C. and Frone says, lifelong Xbox player, depend entirely on LFG, no clan, few friends. What would you say to a guy like me about to switch to PS4? Stay Xbox One or go PS4?
If you have nothing attaching you to the system and you're like dead set on it, and you can afford it, it's not like, oh man, then I'm gonna have to eat ramen noodles for the next 2 months or whatever. I mean, it's your decision, dude. Go for it.
Join the 100. That's how I found my clan, and like
100.io.
So good, yeah. Like I was in one group and then joined another just from bumping into some people, and then I'm in a clan of, I don't know, there's probably like about 100 people in there now. We have our own Slack channel. Everyone, they're talking about doing meetups and stuff, and I absolutely understand why people feel that pressure not to go raiding for the first time or to do that kind of stuff with strangers. It is frightening, but like you're missing out on so much of the game. And the 100 is such a good, like, I'm not being paid by them, I should hasten to add, but it's such a good interface, and it's so easy because they let you do it by time of day, whether you care about swearing or not, what kind of age group you want to be put in. It's pretty easy to find a decent bunch of people, I think, and you can just fuck off and leave if you don't like the people you find anyway. So,
agreed. If you already have a PlayStation 4, I'd probably go ahead and make the switch. If you're thinking about buying a PlayStation 4, then you also get the benefit of all the other PlayStation exclusives that you now have access to.
Sure.
So I'd probably make the switch too. But with the release of Destiny 2 on PC, I'd also be looking strongly at, you can get an affordable gaming PC that's relatively powerful for like $600 or $700 or $800, and then you have access to everything on Steam and this wide world of PC games.
And there is a lot.
There is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And once you make that initial investment, PC gaming also feels cheaper to me than console gaming.
Yeah.
It's not feeling cheap to me right now.
I'd say over the course of 3 years, if you remain consistent playing games on PC, I think it does come out cheaper. That
You
initial
can keep yourself
though,
from buying graphics cards every year.
That's the trick. Don't think of needing a yearly refresh for the top of the line. Then that's a money.
Yeah,
pit.
I got these new monitors, and then I went to go play Overwatch, and it's like, why is it not going above 90 FPS? Oh, my graphics card is a GTX.
You're driving all 3 monitors? Can you even do that?
Only two.
2 monitors?
Yeah, I only have 2 monitors, but it's like,
are you playing on one or are you playing on 2?
Playing on
you
one.
must be playing on one. Okay.
Yeah, playing on
Weird.
one. It's at 90 FPS, but little
Crosshair would be
GTX, 970 GTX. It's doing good. It's for 1440p, I guess.
I think
That could be your streaming PC now.
The cheap the cheap PC we recommend on our site is like $500, and then the budget one is $750, which may not sound very budget, but that'll actually, that would get you playing Destiny, a really good clip, and would give you a couple of years worth of redundancy. It can definitely be intimidating to jump in, but that's why hopefully sites like ours exist to try and make that a bit easier and a bit less frightening.
Mm-hmm.
Are the low end graphics cards coming down in price at all? I know that the Ethereum mining really had those things.
Yeah, I haven't been following it as closely as our hardware guys. I know that's really messed up the pricing of a bunch of those things. Like it's been
well, the low end especially, right?
Yeah, it's messed up all the kind of like the price widgets on our site for the stuff we recommend, because stuff that should be cheap isn't.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it'll even out. And yeah, you want to look for, especially with like Black Friday coming up as well. There'll be some like crazy deals around then, no doubt. If you were thinking a build,
that means Destiny 2 will have been released.
Yeah,
Black Friday.
I'm not some peasant. I'm not going to play Destiny for even one day at less than optimal conditions.
Well, that's
PC gaming we're talking about. We're the master race.
You could build most of the rig and then improve it.
Yeah.
When do you think the next generation of graphics cards are going to get released or discussed?
I don't want to say and be wrong.
Do you have like any kind of forecast? Forecasts are always wrong, so it's fine. You can be wrong in forecast.
My hardware guys definitely would, but I'm worried about fucking up. But I can find out and let you know.
Okay, that's fine.
Subscribe to PC Gamer.
Yeah,
find out.
I'm wondering when I'm going to be remorseful.
It's absolutely not a secret because it's a secret. It's more because I'm just not sure what the kind of timeline is.
Got it. It's more of a question of when am I going to be really sad because I just bought a 1080 Ti and be like, oh god, it's
what do you
old
guys
now.
do with your your old stuff?
eBay.
I take it out to a golf course and just like knock it into the hole or something. Yeah.
You can, especially if you're making regular upgrades, you can eBay stuff and not lose too much value. They retain a decent amount. I had a friend who had two 1080s and sold one of his. But your TI will serve you very well for a long time.
Oh yeah,
that is a brute.
I'm looking like 3 years, pretty easy.
Yeah, easy.
All right, this is a weird question. I don't know if we're qualified to answer it, but I thought it was interesting, so I'm going to ask it. Aram says, thoughts on playing Destiny via boot camp on a new iMac? Playing on a PC, not an option, as I will get a new iMac. So the new iMacs do have better graphics cards than what we're used to in the past.
What do they have in them?
I can't answer. I think it's RX like 580s, 570s.
But it's like mobile, isn't it?
It's a mobile graphics card because they got to fit in those like tiny ass chassis. I would look at the like to answer this question, I would look at the minimum requirements and see if your computer fits in that. But even though you have, like, if you do get a new iMac with like a 570 or a 560 in it, understand that it's not going to be running as fast as a 560 that you put into a PC that has real cooling and stuff. I have a Mac and I run Boot Camp and I played games on it that way, and it's not an optimal experience.
But the thing is, it will run.
Theoretically.
No, I mean it'll run. It'll load up Windows, and you could probably drop all the settings to low and play it.
Probably.
So
I would look at the minimum requirements and see if they fit.
God,
I feel like buy a PlayStation at this point.
Yeah.
There's other things too. The mouse and keyboard drivers work really weird in Boot Camp. That's not great for gaming. There's a bunch of like weird things about doing Boot Camp.
Just play Hearthstone on the Mac. Play a few games against Pirate Warrior. You'll want to kill yourself. That'll be a good time.
All right, Matt Davino says, I'm new to PC gaming, but want to play Destiny 2 there. Is it worth installing? Well, I'm sorry. This is the same question. John says, do you think Destiny 2 will have any chance of getting partnered with a big competitive gaming company? Something like MLG, or is it the ESL? ELS?
Yeah. I'd like to see it partnered up with the esports league, yeah.
Yeah. I'd love to. I think the question was, what's the likelihood? Private matches need to happen before.
It feels low right now, but it does feel like there's pieces in place to make this happen later. Like, like 4v4 only, and the maps being designed for 4v4, so that all the maps are kind of more competitively designed, and the specific roles on weapons, so that will help balance PvP more. So, like, there's a bunch of things that they're doing. While they're not saying custom games or private matches, like, a lot of these pieces feel like they could be easily tailored toward a competitive version of Destiny.
So while I completely agree with you, Briar, and that's 100% correct, that stuff does tailor itself more towards an MLG competitive environment, if the netcode has any hint of garbage in it, it will not exist. Like, it has to have a solid netcode. Like, the reason why...
Well, we'll find out about that next week.
The reason why Overwatch can do what it's doing right now and keeps growing is because it feels truly competitive. You don't walk away from a bunch of matches feeling like, why did I get shot around the corner? And, like...
Because the tick rate's miles better than Destiny, right?
It's
for one thing.
Oh, yeah. It's like 4 times better or something.
And do you think they're going to change that with Destiny? Because when I asked them about because it's still using the same peer-to-peer stuff, right?
It's a hybrid peer-to-peer type of thing. Yeah,
and they sort of said we're doing some stuff differently, which is going to, please you and surprise you. But they weren't very clear about what that stuff was.
They moved the physics host is not going to be on consoles anymore. It's going to be on dedicated the cloud servers. So there's still going to be peer-to-peer stuff in there. We're just going to have to wait to see how it plays out. That's basically what we have to do right now, which is to talk to us in a week, and then we'll see how it plays. Yes.
You look at For Honor. It's like For Honor was set up to be strictly competitive, and it was peer-to-peer. It's like a adaptive host type of amalgamation of a peer-to-peer type of system, and it fizzled out really fast because that's the only thing it was. And that kind of netcode can really kill a competitive game. If Overwatch was peer-to-peer, I don't think it would be where it is today. So I don't know. I mean, like, I would love to see Destiny move into a competitive future like that, but it's just, unless they say we've made...
Call of Duty is peer-to-peer.
No, it's actually dedicated servers until it hits a maximum load, and then it switches over to peer-to-peer.
That's new.
Yeah, new within the past, I think, 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, competitive Call of Duty has been going on for much longer than that.
Well, we had competitive Halo also, and that was peer-to-peer, but the market's moved on.
That's true. Gray Wonder says, with Destiny 2 weapons having static perks, do you think this could pave the way for weapon kiosks like the exotic one in Destiny 1?
Sure. Hope so. That'd be great. Seeing I don't know. The real question is, will you keep your mods if you dismantle said weapons? Probably not.
Will mods be permanent?
Oh yeah.
Like once you apply them, will they be permanently stuck on that weapon?
I mean, you don't get your ornaments when you dismantle something, so I'm pretty sure they're not going to give you your mods back.
Oh man,
That's right.
well, that's good for the farm. Actually, that's good for farming.
Yeah. From Slido, Pipo asks if all subclasses would have 2 main super abilities like the Sentinel, shield plus bubble in this case. What would you add to the Warlock and Hunter?
That is the thinking music for all of us right now.
You're in trouble, Rachel.
Oh God. That's a big question, man.
That is a tough question to answer. Why don't we sit on that one and move on?
Yeah.
Heaven Below says, what's your favorite thing revealed in Destiny 2? Confirmed or unconfirmed?
My favorite thing?
Yeah, favorite thing.
That there's chickens at the farm, man. Of course.
Ralph
the chicken.
Ralph is there, and I just wish he would have been named Gary. That's all.
Gary the chicken?
I don't know.
No, you can't have 2 Garys. That'd be so confusing. Be like, I'm gonna go pet Gary. You want to pet the end guy? What?
No, I want to take out my frustration on Gary on the chicken at the farm.
Whoa! You want to kick the chicken?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we can be on a podcast anymore. I'm sorry.
I want to go up and I want to kick the chicken. You know, some feathers fly out.
Sounds awful. I'm calling PETA.
That's horrific.
My favorite thing, confirmed, there is a 2 in Destiny 2.
That's your favorite thing?
There's a thing. Yeah, it's no new damn game. I get to enjoy stuff. I get to look forward to reviewing weapons. I get to look forward to theory crafting once again. Not just have this kind of staleness that's been in my mouth for about a year.
I'm excited about Sentinel Titan. When I saw what Sentinel Titan, at first I was like a shield. I was like, I don't know. And then I saw gameplay and now I'm like, I can't wait to play Sentinel Titan. Cannot wait.
That charge with the shield forward.
The whole package, man. The whole package.
The whole package.
Shield, blocking. Oh, here's a safety bubble. Never mind. I'm going to throw this thing right in your face. Oh,
it's God. The Brad Pitt of Destiny. It's got the whole package.
It's incredible. Can't wait.
Maybe the damage on the shield will be low, though, because otherwise it's too good, isn't it? Because they talked about it being used to like knock people down. So maybe it's not like a high damage thing.
They talked about that in like PvE, but in every single instance of PvP, it was like, just if that thing hits you, it just one-shots you.
Okay.
Yeah, and it seemed to go for a while too. Like you could go in there and get some stuff done.
Did you see the glowy footsteps Pope as well that they've added to the roaming supers?
Yep.
No, I didn't.
There's glowing footsteps. So like if you suddenly look down, like you see a bunch of glowing some glowing arc lightning type footsteps on the ground, and then you see in the kill feed that someone just died to an arc blade. It's like, or a arc strike.
Turn around.
I'm going the other way. No, we're not dealing with that right now.
How long do the steps last?
They looked like they were staying for the entire super.
I think they said it was for the duration of the super. Yeah, as long as it was.
I'm gonna have a ton of fun with that. I'm just gonna like pop my super and run around in circles and just.
I'm gonna draw a penis with it on the ground.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You would.
In before movie of the week.
There was your idea, Patrick. Yeah.
You gotta start writing cursive again.
Tyler Lawrence says, which game had the greatest pre-release hype, Destiny 2 or Halo 2?
Halo 2. Halo 2 was insane at the time.
Yeah, there was nobody in the world that didn't know that game was coming out.
Yeah. I'm so old, I'd say Sonic the Hedgehog 2. That was big. Sonic Tuesday, man. They named the whole day after it.
Yeah, Halo 2 was kind of crazy. Just like I was in high school at the time, and we took basically the high school took a day off. Like people were bringing in their consoles to play it in classes and stuff. We had a really cool high school, I guess.
Definitely.
I think it would serve Destiny 2 well if the hype doesn't get out of control. Like, I think it's good that they're having the debate when people can get a taste for it and set their expectations accordingly.
I hope that they realize what happened in D1. The beta is like is vanilla beta, not vanilla Destiny, but like they're withholding a lot of stuff and that,
Yeah.
tempers our expectations, I guess.
Brock Kelly says, go ahead.
My biggest hope is that they've learned from, and I think they probably have, like, the most exciting thing about Taken King was the Black Spindle mission, was stuff happening that you couldn't predict, that the community just like lost their shit for when it happened. And I think we were all hoping there'd be more of that in Rise of Iron, and there wasn't really any. And that's, I'm sure, because, the live team is 6 people and a dog, and they did a great job, but like there's not many of them.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it feels like there were so many wasted opportunities.
Yeah, I just want
or they just didn't have enough time.
I just want D2 each day when you wake up, like, at least the idea that something new could be out there that someone's happened across. I don't want everyone to have just drunk it all down in 3 days.
Yeah.
And it felt like it went on for like 2 or 3 months in the Taken King too. It's like
it really did.
You never knew what was going to be like the flavor du jour. It could be nothing. It could be the Black Spindle mission.
And they are great at this stuff. Like Outbreak Prime was in like I think that's like one of the coolest things a game like this has ever done. Outbreak Prime, that one, his guys, fucking sleuthing that stuff out was just. Yeah. And then it was in our clan. It was so exciting. Like everyone was trying to drag the one guy who understood how to do the friggin' jumping on the drums. He had to do it like 20 times, so everyone was so sick of it. There's no other game that does that. I think that's why, like, when I'm talking to my audience and they're skeptical, I try and get across the moments like that make Destiny different to other games.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
Brock Kelly says the Titan King seemed longer at the time to kills seemed longer at the DRE. In IGN's first coverage, they seem shorter. Are they still tinkering? Where do you want? I keep saying the Taken King, but it's time to kill to land. He's using TTK.
Yeah. Like the game is obviously always, or it's still being built, so stuff is liable to change. The other thing to consider is that the person that was playing in some of the IGN footage was a developer on the PvP team. So chances are that dude has been playing a lot of PvP. He probably, he knew what he was doing. That's it. And then a lot of the footage was us getting like our first glimpse of it. This is our first time playing the Warlock Dawnblade. Okay, and then we're potatoing around trying to figure stuff out. That dude knew the sight lines, knew how people would move around the map, knew when to flank, knew when to use certain abilities. So he was playing optimal DPS, so to speak.
It was probably Greg who got the fusion rifles nerfed all those times.
Right. It was like right off the bat, he ran to B. Actually, he grabbed sniper ammo. So he was like, okay, sniper ammo, ran to B, threw the wall up to protect his flank, and then immediately sighted the other flank to see if they're going to come. I was like, yeah, this guy has played this map.
He's played this map a little bit.
You guys know who it was, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you think there'll be a thing with the power ammo in PvP that if there's an equivalent of trials at some point, which we assume there is, that I'm sure you guys run carries and stuff, that it'll become a bit like, oh, don't you touch the ammo, noobs, because I need to use it for the sniper rifle. But that's going to kind of suck for the other people, isn't it? I guess that's the point of carries, is you get carried. But I don't want someone to be telling me don't pick up the ammo.
Yeah, I've thought about that too, because while it does make it more special, like in Halo, you'd get killed. If somebody was an asshole, they'd like just kill you and then pick up the gun. If if you weren't aware that they were about to do that. So it's definitely going to cause some salt, but people are just going to have to adapt.
Yeah.
Robert says
one quick thing about all that footage. You mentioned that he like grabbed the ammo right at the bat. Apparently, that's not how it's going to work.
Oh, really?
In the live game, yeah, it's not. The ammo is not going to immediately spawn. I think they did that just for the purposes of getting footage for them.
It's good to know.
But it's not going to spawn right at the start.
Yeah, that's really good to know, actually.
Or maybe it will. Who knows?
Who knows? But they made a very clear point to in like the second video to have a little disclaimer at the bottom that said, "Hey, so this ammo is not going to spawn right at the start. This isn't representative of what it's going to be like in the actual game."
Yeah.
Robert says, what do you think will happen with the other 3 subclasses? Mark Noseworthy was hinting that they might be in the vanilla game after all.
It's going to be there. Totally going to be there. Calling it. I'll bet my Destiny 1 Warlock on it.
I'll bet my Hunter on it.
What if they had some sort of crazy crafting system that they put in there, and in order to get the 3rd subclass, you had to craft all the pieces needed to obtain it?
I don't think that makes sense.
Oh,
I like the idea that you had to max out the other 2 subclasses before they pop out, because I think like having 9 at launch is too much choice for my brain to be able to handle. But being able to kind of just work through and then go, all right, now you can play Tickle Fingers.
Well, how it works in vanilla too, or even now, you start like with a Striker Titan, and then you eventually unlock the Defender.
What are you guys all starting on day 1?
Titan.
Because of charity, I was chosen to be a Warlock.
Yes.
Which I'll be happy about. I mean, Warlocks are looking great.
Yeah.
Void or the new one?
Dawnblade.
Man, I don't know. After the beta, I'll decide. Because initially I was like, oh man, Dawnblade's amazing. But throwing that Spirit Bomb, and also I love Blink. Like, I'll still run Blink today through the raids just because I want to make sure that I want data.
Wait, Blink in the raid?
Oh yeah, I'm Blink through Kingsfall. I can't run the Relic, unfortunately, because they nerfed it to the point where it's literally impossible. But like, I want data in their system to see that people are still blinking in PvE. I'm putting that in there.
You're that guy.
Absolutely. I've blinked through every raid.
And think of how much you've missed.
Okay.
Gunslinger Hunter, because gunslingers. It's sweet. I shoot people.
I think I'll go Void Walker. That's what I started Vanilla Destiny, so do the same.
I'm doing the Titan purely for the first raid experiences. You always want a bubble Titan around for the raid.
Yeah. I'm hoping the Warlock give a bit of that utility now that the thing that exists across class. You can make the little AOE heal or damage buff. Like, it's kind of like giving them Blessing of Light and Weapons of Light, right? Which should be cool.
Well, one of the things that I saw that I really liked about the Titan is that half wall that you for optimal DPS, right? Just being able to crouch over and aim, and then crouch back down and aim, and your gun is immediately reloaded.
Do you assume that the big bubble will have no buff? It will just be a protection shield. Like, it's not going to be like Armor of Light or anything like that.
Yeah. That's what I'm assuming as well. And you can choose. I think we're assuming also that you either choose to roam with your super, but you can't, once you start depleting it past a certain point, you can't pop a...
No, it's when you pop your super. They had it in the video today. It's
keep
either
it
you
held
press
down.
them, you either press them or you hold them. If you hold them, a bubble pops. If you just tap them, then it pops Sentinel.
That makes sense. I like that.
Jesse says, do you think the new map in the Iron Temple was originally designed for Destiny 1? It seemed like it would flow better with 6v6.
Cut content. Oh my god.
You see where that question's going, can't you? Burn it all down.
It did seem like a much larger map. I don't know. We can never
I'm going to just say no. I don't think they had any extra time when they were developing Rise of Iron. I think this was a new map. They decided they liked the Iron Temple, so they thought it'd be fun to play some PvP there in Destiny 2. Yeah. K-Brash says, what Crucible map from Destiny 1 would you like revamped for Destiny 2? Similar to how Halo changed Blood Gulch in Halo 1 to Coagulation in Halo 2.
Rusted Lands and Change Nothing.
Rusted Lands is the one. Yeah, Rusted Lands for me is the one. It is the quintessential Destiny 1 map.
It's perfect.
I don't know. Shores of Time.
Widow's Court.
No, not Widow's Court. Definitely
I like
not.
Widow's Court. I like it fine.
I mean, I think it fits. It fits.
I
with
like
all
the
European
map, but I'm not going to be like, bring that map back. I can't wait. Shores of Time has a special place in my heart just because.
Okay. Shores of Time is a good one.
It's just the way it flowed, and really, I've got great memories of Destiny 1 in Shores of Time. And I think that's really what it comes down to when you bring back a map. It's like, what were the memories you had playing that map? See, for you guys, you're like Rusted Lands. I killed so many people in Rusted Lands. It was amazing. Like Shores of Time, I love sniping people in those lanes. It was great. Loved it.
I'd like to see how Rusted Lands plays, or not Rusted Lands, Shores of Time plays in a meadow where an entire team can't camp C elbow area with snipers.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm not like Holtz. I would like, basically like a reskin of the whole thing. So it plays similarly. They take some of the data they have from Destiny 1. They make a couple of tweaks here and there, but it looks like a completely different place, but the geometry is essentially the same as it was. I like when they do that.
Call of Duty did that a lot.
Yeah, I like that kind of
thing. Remastered the maps and, put different stuff on them, made them look different.
Hold up, there's something in chat. This is actually really interesting about the Vostok map. It says I think they designed this. He says think the other way around. I think they designed it as a PvP map first, and then threw the asset into Rise of Iron when it became clear they wouldn't ship it in D2 in 2016. That's actually a really interesting point. They could have had the map partially designed and then realized they needed a social space, and they were doing this Iron Temple thing, and we're like, how about we use the map that we built? That's a possibility right there.
Totally. Because you did.
It's highly modified from what a PvP map would be, though.
I need to go into. I'm going to go into the Iron Temple right now and I'm just going to look around, because a lot of those assets that we see.
I don't know, man.
I feel skeptical that they're belatedly going, oh shit, we need to design a social space. We forgot about that. Like,
yeah,
surely
I don't.
It's not shit. We designed a social space. It's designing worlds and stuff like that. It takes a very long time.
A PvP map though, like walking around that thing, it just doesn't feel like a PvP map.
No.
I can kind of see it. There's so many different pathways up like onto different ledges and everything. Yeah. There's like just a bridge that goes to nowhere. Yeah.
There's a central area with basically no cover in it.
Mm-hmm.
There's the hallway that goes back to the shrine.
I'm not talking
about.
There's
a bridge that comes straight out.
Cover's always added, by the way.
There's precedent for them doubling up, because you have Bannerfall, right, which is the tower. So like having a place that's a social space and a map.
Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm.
Bannerfall, though, it's a different shape than the tower. It looks similar, but it's a different shape.
Yeah, I just mean like the inspiration.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It doesn't feel like a PvP map to me. K-Brash says, what Crucible map from Destiny 1? Oh, I just read that one, sorry. Bushman says, does Arcstrider seem a bit underwhelming compared to Sentinel and Dawnblade to you? I'm a Hunter main and think so, but still want to play it.
To be fair, we haven't seen anything really about Arcstrider. We got like there's maybe like 3 minutes of footage out there, just like of random stuff clipped together. We have like uninterrupted footage of all the other subclasses. The only thing Arcstrider has really gotten was a little write up on some places, and that was basically it. So, there's not enough.
I'm with Patrick on this one. People were, iffy about the Sentinel until they showed gameplay of it, and now everybody's a Sentinel main.
Last week everybody was an Arcstrider main.
What were the rest of the Arcstrider perks like? Did it still have stuff like quick draw and the invis?
No, it seemed like it was heavily focused on the dodge ability, where it would give you like a longer melee range after performing a successful dodge and then there was like in your super you can dodge more, stuff like that. So it seems to be very kung fu-esque.
I like the thing they were saying that Gunslinger now, Chain of Woe, affects your teammates, like it stacks for your teammates. That's cool, because Hunters are not the most generous in group activities.
No, it's a selfish way to actually be useful, which is a very Hunter-esque thing. You're not popping an ability to actually help your group. You're just slaying stuff, and then that's what's going to be good for your group. Mm-hmm. So it's a different type of group utility that I am all for.
The Mohegan Nines,
especially when you bring it into a raid.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The Mohegan, he wouldn't even change his exotic armor.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
I didn't have a night.
Useless as a PvE.
Excuse me, I made 3 orbs.
The Mohegan 9 says, what percentage of the time that you're streaming are you not wearing pants?
Oh, I never wear pants.
Post-Seattle or pre-Seattle, 50-50. Pre-Seattle 50-50, because my camera was angled in such a way that you would never actually see my lower body. Now, like I have to act like when I get up, you'll see that I don't have pants on, so I got to wear pants.
Wait, don't you wear shorts though?
Shorts, whatever.
Whoa, shorts are not pants. I'm sorry.
No, I know they are.
They are definitely not. You're trying to say that shorts are pants right now?
Oh my god.
Or interchangeable? Definitely not.
I mean, in the context of the question, are you wearing something over your underwear?
No, I think you're reading into the question a little bit.
Oh my god. Hey, Tim, you want to be the new host, a new host on the Destiny Community Podcast. I can't deal with these guys anymore.
Do I have to wear pants? seems like that's a deal breaker.
That is not a requirement.
Pants or shorts.
You can wear
apparently
shorts.
a big deal.
I'm done.
I've only actually streamed once with no pants on. I woke up in the morning. I was working on the stream. Like, I was adding like some new features to like some new stuff for the stream, and I accidentally went live. And I didn't know I was live until I started getting follower alerts. I'm like, why are people following me right now? I'm like, shit. So I just went with it and just kept streaming.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
When we were back on Planet Destiny, I streamed quite a bit actually with because just the way that I was set up, I had a really nice backdrop and I could, slide in and out of there without any exposure. So I was often freeballing.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Yeah,
guys, you obviously are gonna wear something on the. You're gonna wear at least shorts, right?
It was in my bedroom, man, and I don't like stuff. I'm a hairy man. I like to be,
untethered.
I don't want to be. Yeah, I don't want to be closed in and boxed in.
Yeah. I've never not had anything on below. That's for sure.
I just realized if I got a green screen, I could just wear green screen underwear.
Oh, I love that idea.
That's a great idea.
Oh yeah,
that's a wonderful idea.
And then wear like green screen leggings, so I'm a walking torso or a floating.
You'd
torso.
be like Angry Iceberg, but upside down.
I actually have a torso.
I love it. Waiting for Destiny 2 says, if your Guardians were real, what would their voices sound like aside from the cutscenes? Could be your own voice or an actor's voice. I pictured my Guardian having kind of like a jive kind of way of talking.
Yeah, like a jive turkey.
Yeah, kind of like
a 70s funk machine.
More like an airplane kind of like comical version of it,
Okay.
That's how I picture it.
Mine wouldn't talk. No talking.
Yeah, no talking.
Basically,
I would actually want my Guardian to have the voice of Nathan Fillion. Just not Kate Six, but his voice.
I just want Nathan Fillion to move in.
Yeah, if he can move into my house and just make me breakfast in the morning.
I want him to be my permanent drinking buddy.
Gonna be your maid?
we would hang out.
Yeah,
my warlock she would sound aloof, I think, because she's a warlock, and I think she could be played by like Eva Green or someone hot, ideally.
Or your wife, right? Your wife.
I'm not married.
Oh, okay, good.
she can't hear what you're saying either.
Okay.
She is looking at me with quite a stare now, though. So, that's gone bad. That's gone bad for me.
Okay.
Fluffy Fingers MD says, if you had to survive in the wilderness, who would be the last one standing? Also, how long would one-armed Tef survive after a bear attack?
Depends. Did he kill the bear so then he can eat both the bear and his own arm?
You damn right he killed the bear. Damn right.
He's got food. He's got a lot of food then.
Yeah.
I don't know, Patrick. I'm pretty sure that it would be a toss-up between you and me as to who would be the last person standing.
I'm an Eagle Scout.
You underestimate my resourcefulness. By the way, you had never heard about C. Dale Peterson until the last podcast. I've known about C. Dale Peterson for years.
The only thing I know about you in the wilderness, Taft, is that faced with a bear attack, your solution would be stuffing your arm down his throat.
That's not even the most dangerous part of the bear. God.
Oh my gosh!
Like, I am a certified Eagle Scout, sir. So that gives me some.
That's actually
the wilderness bin
karma you're hiding.
That's really great that you went to Staples and had that printed out.
My full name and the registration number of me being an Eagle Scout is what I'm hiding.
Is that like a credit card number?
Yeah, you get a gold card that basically signifies that yes, you are an Eagle Scout. And this has got
your Eagle Scout.
Yeah, it's got me out of traffic tickets. Like when I go to pull out my ID, the cop sees that, oh, you are an Eagle Scout. This is in front of everything. This is in front of all my credit cards and stuff. And so then he sees Eagle Scout.
The fact is that is your actual disadvantage. Because as an Eagle Scout, you would be compelled to do the right thing, as where I would be.
Have you met Patrick?
Well, I mean, I think in a situation he would be compelled to do the. How did he get an Eagle Scout? That's what I want to know. What it was rigged.
Pretty sure eBay.
I had. I eBayed it.
Yeah.
Fair. That's fair.
Nick Chopper says Bungie said PvP maps were designed for activities. How do you think that fits with control maps being big and small? You want variety in maps, right? Like you don't want every map to be small. You don't want every map to be big. You want some variety.
Plus that causes you to change your loadout too. If everything's actually has variety, using one thing is stale, like what we have now.
Do you think with that locked loadout stuff, there's going to be situations where people go into a Nightfall or a raid and they go, "Oh, I bought the wrong shotgun. I've got to go to orbit." Like that is going to fucking suck.
I don't think it'll be like when you enter the activity. I think it'll be at certain sections of the activity where you can't change your loadout. At least that's what I hope it is, or else it's going to be a little rough.
I don't see the point of it if it's in certain sections.
Stolen valor.
I mean, I like to be organized with my gear, but it's going to tick me off if people are just going, "Oh, I'm wearing my PvP stuff. Whoopsie. Can you guys wait?" Nope.
Oh, yeah. Right.
That's where Gib is going to come into handy, but you're definitely going to have to go to orbit to change, and that's going to blow.
That happened a lot of the time in WoW, where I'd they would summon me into a raid and just immediately start the fight. I'm like, I'm wearing arena gear right now. All right, I'm just going to be missing the boss 24/7. Sweet.
Well, is this the latest WoW mention of any podcast?
No. There was something earlier.
I had an earlier one.
I remember something earlier. Yeah.
We don't go more than 10, 15 minutes in without some sort of WoW reference.
Yeah.
Ringo the Gun says, when is DCP challenging Bungie for a podcast showdown? They have a legit podcast.
Yeah. They do one a month. They do one episode.
The only way that they would accept that is if it was a PvE challenge, because I've seen Urk play, and man, I mean, he's a warlock for a reason. So he's got that.
Needs all the help he can get.
He's got. Oh man, I hope he's listening to this.
I feel like they're gonna pull something where they're like, okay, yeah, no, we'll do PvP, and then they get like all the heavy hitters from their PvP design team to just come in, and then it's like, oh, this got sweaty. Okay.
Pretty sure they have to have 10 episodes, right?
I believe more than 10.
Do they have more?
They have years.
Technically, they do technically have more than 10, but they recently restarted it after like 3 years or so.
It's been.
What number are they?
Urk started a long time ago. They went for a couple years. Definitely.
Luke Smith used to host it.
Yeah, it's really old. They had a hiatus for a while, but Urk used to do it, and Luke, it was a lot of fun. It was back in the Halo days. It was one of the coolest things. I waited for it every. I don't think it was every week, but
that podcast was during Microsoft owned days. So I think this is a little bit different. They need to have 10.
Is there a
this is a different territory
here?
Yeah.
Is this a technicality?
This is a little
I think Tepti's scared.
No. I'm just saying they need to have a legitimate podcast. Sure, they had one back when they did this one game that people love, but they forgot about,
Hey Tim, do you guys have a podcast? We're thirsty for more competition.
We have a weekly UK and US one.
Oh,
two.
Multiple subjects.
Interesting.
But we'd love to have, I'm sure, like one of you guys on to talk about Destiny once it comes out.
Yeah,
absolutely, man.
Cool.
Chaos says, if you could choose anyone in the Destiny community to be your tag team partner to face the big show in the WWE, who would it be and why?
Anybody in the Destiny community?
Yeah. I don't know if you guys met Mr. Hunting Noobs at Guardian Con, but he's about the size of the big show, and that's who I'm picking. I'm going Mr. Hunting Noobs.
Trying to think of the biggest person that I met.
I don't think you're going pound for pound with the big show.
I'll go Deej. I don't expect us to win, but I think Deej would fight dirty. He'd be like throwing sand in his eyes, like he'd have like keys in his pocket.
Good one.
Windmilling.
Talk him to death.
Yeah. He'd put out a press release explaining why they'd won, even though it might have seemed like it was.
Yeah.
Or you just bribe him before the show.
All right. I don't know, man. I think. That's a tough one.
Watts, right? He wouldn't hit a girl, right? Because he's a gentleman.
True.
So while he's not hitting Watts, you could run out of the ring and out of the arena. No,
leaving Watts to fight.
Leaving Watts to fight. That's
hit a girl.
I would pick Lucky and Buttwipe because they are essentially one person, but I get 2 for 1.
Wow.
The 3 of us would go on him. Yeah.
Oh, if we're doing that, then I pick the Destiny Community Podcast. I just want to watch you guys get wrecked.
That's so nice.
Oh, man.
Tyler Nelson says, does a grilled cheese become a melt when extra fillings are added?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. If you use anything other than American cheese, it's no longer grilled cheese either.
You need to sit down and go.
If you add tuna, it's no longer a grilled cheese sandwich with tuna on it. It's a tuna melt.
Tuna melt, yeah.
If you add turkey
melt.
It's no longer a grilled cheese sandwich with turkey on it. It's a turkey
What happens
melt.
if you add bacon?
I disagree.
So there are
with the whole American cheese.
Now it's
now it's grilled cheese with bacon.
Yeah, it's grilled cheese with bacon. Same with the tomato. Grilled cheese with tomato.
Okay, so there are examples, but it's definitely with cheddar, not with American.
American cheese is terrible.
Absolutely.
It's garbage.
I hate American cheese.
Absolutely.
It's not cheese. It's cheese product. If you ever go actually look at the label, it's cheese product. Yeah. No, it's not real, but it's what I prefer. It's what goes on a burger.
Why are you guys so weird about cheese? Why don't you let in proper cheese?
Proper cheese.
Excuse me, sir. I'll have you know I have a fridge full of proper cheese. I'll be right back.
Why are you cheese exclusives? I think is the question.
Yeah. What's
Is it American cheese full of chemicals?
Yeah, it's gross.
Probably.
It's not even.
I can't imagine a world where you make American cheese without having highly processed chemical products.
The strongest like American cheddar, you barely know it's in your mouth. You can get like a sharp cheddar in Europe that will it'll fucking take your eyebrows off. That's what you want.
I want that cheese.
I love sharp cheddar cheese, man. I'm a big fan.
Patrick's actually brought his cheese.
All right. Dawson says, who would win in a rap battle? Marky Mark or Vanilla Ice?
Marky Mark.
Yeah, Marky
Vanilla
Mark.
Ice. Vanilla Ice has more practice in it.
He is?
No, Marky what?
Are we talking about at their
peaks here? Ice Baby. He is the clear winner here.
Uh-huh. You made that beat too, right? Yeah. Okay, look, see. We know about cheese, okay? We got some just basic bitch sharp cheddar, okay? Which, that's probably processed cheese too.
What brand is that?
Some high quality Tillamook cheese.
Tillamook's pretty good.
This is some pepper jack deli slice. We got some Tillamook Munster Pope paper. There you go. Yeah. And then just to top it off, because you got to have it, you got your basic.
God.
Yeah, this is some good. This is the good shit. You put 2 slices of this in between some bread, butter both sides. Put that in a pan.
I bet you've got some of that cheese in a can, Patrick. The cheese whiz.
I have eaten it before. The best stuff is actually the jalapeno cheese in a can. Oh god. Oh, dude, you're going backpacking. Get some of that stuff. Put it on a Ritz cracker.
You guys are killing me right now.
And you call yourself an Eagle Scout.
Oh yes, that's how I know.
Unbelievable.
All right.
Oh.
Last question of the night. Most interesting Korean says, is it okay to go into the restroom and go into the first urinal if someone is in the second stall and stall 3, 4, 5, and 6 are empty?
Absolutely not.
No,
Absolutely not.
No.
That is against bathroom protocol.
Why would you?
You may be fined.
The only exception
I don't give a rat's ass. I go to the closest one that is
You are
convenient for me.
You are trying to make people hate you, Pope.
I don't care.
It's not just a urinal thing. If there's like, if you get on a bus and there's lots of spaces and you sit next to the one person who's sat on their own, that's not right.
That's awkward.
No,
that's
no.
awkward,
So what I do is I like to get in there, close the stall, and just struggle with it, and just make it, just sit there and go.
Pope's reaching under and saying, "Hey, you got any paper under there?"
Hey, there's no paper.
You got to eat a chocolate bar before you do that, so your hands are all brown, and sticky, and when you reach under there, that's all I see.
Just blurting out, "Oh God, is that blood?"
This is how Pope met his fire team, was having conversations in
the bathroom. You met him in the bathroom. Wow, amazing.
Hey, you play Destiny?
Blood. Who does number 2 work for? Who does number 2 work for?
Oh, that's awkward.
But it's the stuff that makes them walk away a little faster.
You're trying to empty it out, so then you can actually take your time in there, right?
Yeah. That's right.
Save some it gets something that you can drop into the toilet to make the splashing noises too. Yeah. Drop some change in there. You're not using it.
I actually can walk up and knock on stall 2 and go, "Hey, you done in there?
That's my seat."
You done warming that for me?
I like them warm. When are you gonna be done in there?
Speaking of being done, thank you for tuning in to the. Oh yeah, we're moving on to end segues now, boys. Thank you for tuning in to the 41st episode of the Destiny Community Podcast. Thank you for coming on, Tim, and giving us some of the light of the PC gaming world.
A pleasure to be here. Thanks, boys.
Glorious light.
All right. Yep. If you want to find more of me, I am at Holtzmann_YT on Twitter, and you can find me there putting up cheese.
I'm Briar Rabbit. You can find me on Twitter at the Briar Rabbit. You can find me on Twitch. Just look for Briar Rabbit, same as YouTube.
I'm Tefty Teft. You can talk to me at Teft on Twitter. You can catch the streams, twitch.tv/Tefty Teft, and I have a YouTube channel as well that gets some love every now and then.
Very rarely.
Very rarely, but every now and then it gets some love.
Tim, go ahead.
Oh, if you want to visit our website, it's pcgamer.com. That'd be very helpful to me.
Boom.
All right. And this has been Pope Bear. You can find me on Twitter at Pope Bear or trolling these guys' Twitch channels and YouTubes. Just remember that next week we will not have a guest on. We are going to be doing after a major release. It's always just the core group. Watts will be returning, and we will be talking about the beta. So make sure to join us then. We'll be giving out some more codes. So pay attention, Patrick, right?
Oh, yeah. If you're listening and you're watching on YouTube right now, if you made it to this, you should probably check the comments. There might be some codes.
Or maybe right here there would be a flash screen, right, with the code.
That would require me to re-render this entire thing, and no,
never mind.
Not happening.
Anyway, we got a lot of stuff going on. We have great guests lined up for you all the way through launch. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at DestinyCompod. Turn on notifications. We only use that account to notify you of stuff that's going on, so make sure to turn on notifications. And thanks again for listening.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
We are still live, Tim. And we're gonna
Yeah, Tim.